Well, there it goes. The Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome live on this Saturday, first Saturday morning in December of 2023 to the 920th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programio. Of the stream. Conmigo. Oh, here we go, yeah. With me, Dave Lefkowitz. And the woman I won and wooed, Joyce. Hey, babe. How you doing? So good to see you feeling well again. Okay? Just what a week it's been. Just between the two of us, with me still getting over my cold, you getting like the headache and the ugh and the heck and the throat and the
pressure. It was a pressure headache. That's what the acupuncturist said, and I agreed.
So in other words, the air pressure. Because, never doubt your wife. This is happy wife, happy life kind of, never doubt your wife. So a couple of days ago, Joyce is like, I'm feeling so, I'm getting head, my migraine, my thing. And she's like, yeah, it's going to snow. I'm like, I check the weather every day. It's going to be snow temperature, and it's going to be feeling really damp, but we're not going to there's no snow. And she's like, it's going to snow. I'm like, no, it's not going to snow. We haven't, and the thing is, we have not had snow in a year and a half.
I wish it never would snow because I don't want to feel sicky, Bubba.
Well, but the problem was, we got, the next morning, as I'm driving to my gig, one of my teaching gigs, I'm like, in the car, and son of a bitch, it's little bitty flurries.
Yeah.
Halfway as I'm getting towards...
Everybody texted me or emailed me pictures of snow. And one of our friends, a colleague, lives in Towson. She has chickens. So she has to go out in the morning to get the eggs. And she was like, do you know it snowed? I'm like, yes.
Yeah. It didn't, it flurried.
But there were flakes of snow.
There were flakes.
I have a student who comes from a country that never has snow. And she goes, why didn't anybody tell me? I want to see snow.
Wait. How would she, I understand this. Yeah. I have never seen a lion in the middle of York Road. But I know lions exist.
But she's never experienced it firsthand. Right. So, it would be like never going in an ocean.
And then,
she was like, she goes, everyone let you know. Why didn't anybody tell me? I was like, anytime it snows, please, everyone, email her.
Because that wasn't really, if this was her chance of seeing snow, she kind of is.
No, but just anything, you want to see.
No, because it has been weird. It's been almost kind of a record thing of not in the Northeast having snow.
Global warming. The climate is cuckoo pants.
And it can also be just it can also be that 10 years from now, we just 2 feet of snow every year.
We'll live in the Arctic. I don't know. I'm not smart like that. I have a friend who studies climate change. She would know. It's not my area, so I have no idea. But I know. Think when you're a child, I remember them. We had snowstorms. They closed school. We had seasons.
In New York, of course, we did.
The seasonality that we have now is not the seasonality, even in places like New York or even probably Colorado too. They've had uncharacteristically highs and lows and
highs and lows.
It's been different. It's not just so it's not just regional. That's the
because that I've told this over and over again. But when we first moved from New York to Colorado. And everybody said, bring your mucklucks, bring your snow boots. I'm like, we're not moving to Vail. We're moving to,
We're moving to Gunnison and we're going up in the mountains.
Yeah. And in those years that we were there, almost every year, New York got more snow than we did.
But we had, the thing about Colorado that people don't get is you could wake up, it could be 30.
Yes.
And then so you go to school wearing the parka, the boots. And then midday it's 60, and the kids are playing frisbee golf in shorts and flip-flops.
But that happened.
And then at night it got cold again.
That happened frequently there. That happened here this week. There was one when I went out the door. It was just below 30, and then it hit about 60 in the afternoon.
Yes.
I thought that only happened in Colorado. I guess that's a more common thing even now. Because when it was free, we had really a cold snap this week. It was like Monday or Tuesday. It was just like you're coming out. Didn't have the frost in the morning, but you had this 30-degree weather. And then, what was it, 3 days later, suddenly in the middle of the afternoon, it's like the sun is shining. And I thought, what am I wearing a coat for?
I know.
It was the most beautiful thing.
That's what I think is messing up my head.
Yeah. And even today, it's as usual. Whenever we do the show on,
Like, do you want the overhead light?
No, this looks great.
If you look out, like it looks to me like it's a
fog.
It's funny because we were watching a show about the UK, but I feel like we're in the Irish highlands, lowlands, or I mean, it's getting better, but
but it is.
It reminds me of when we had wildfires in Colorado and the smoke was in the air. It doesn't feel.
No, I love fog. I think fog is beautiful. But thing is, if you got the impression from watching this show for the past year or so that we've been in Maryland, we live in northern Maryland now, and that's where we do the program. Virtually every week, no matter how beautiful the weather is the week before, during the week, sunny, 50, 70, and so forth. Saturday morning, it turns gray and rains.
Can I just ask you, which Colorado town are you doing? Because you were talking about Colorado.
Thank you for asking.
No, are you recycling or are you still doing new ones?
This is new. There's a town in Colorado. Joyce is referring, of course, to the Colorado Limerick of the Damned that we do every week, where I write a poem about a different place in beloved, beautiful Colorado.
Oh, good Lord.
And so we've been doing this for years now, because I try and do one a week. I started writing them years ago, and I have, not quite, but getting close to 300 limericks, little horrible poems about Colorado. Yeah. We have about 300 of them at this point. Still trying to do new ones, and they get tougher and tougher because, there's a difference about trying to write a limerick rhyming things with Vale or, Montrose or Red Rocks, where you can be really filthy, and then trying to come up with other things like, Valparaiso and Longmont was a little, you know where I'm going. So today, though, did come up with a new one this week for Woodmoor, Colorado. Woodmoor. And which is funny because we used to live near a town called Woodmere, but this is Woodmoor in Maryland. In Colorado, forgive me. And we have a limerick, a Colorado Limerick of the Damned that we'll do close to the end of the program today. Today being Saturday, December 2nd, 2023, our 920th episode of the show, as I said, and we're calling this one, people of a certain age, only of a certain age will get this, and a certain mind bent will get the reference here. But it's Rabbi Sal Solomon meets the Wolf Man. That's what we're calling the show. Right? In homage to when they revived the Abbott and Costello franchise that was kind of petering out, and suddenly they brought them, since they were at Universal Studios anyway, they brought them to the old labs, and they got Lon Chaney, and they got Lon Chaney Jr., and they got Bela Lugosi, and they got, who played Frankenstein? The monster. Oh my God, the English actor.
Lon Chaney?
No. It was he usually spoke like
Boris
this.
Karloff?
Thank you, yes.
I don't know.
So they got all these people to recreate these classic roles from the 1930s in Abbott and Costello movies, and they did a series of horror comedies that remain among the most popular of the Abbott and Costello films. It really revived the whole thing. And so, there's Abbott and Costello meet the Wolf Man, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which is the classic. Abbott and Costello meet the Boston Strangler. Abbott and Costello meet Jeffrey Dahmer, that was a tasty little film. It was, but it was a scary scene when Lou opened that freezer. Anyway, so we have something in homage to that. The title of today's program, this week's program, is called Rabbi Sal Solomon Meets the Wolf Man. And what that is in reference to is we have a special guest coming back to the Daverhood. After 11 years, we have with us a fellow named Steve Wolf. Get it, Wolfman, Steve Wolf. He is, although rather ironically, he's the least hairy person you're ever going to see. But he 11 years ago, when he was on the show, he had been doing all these stunts and setting up pyrotechnics and special effects for like big major Hollywood movies with serious actors, people like, let me say, I have this down somewhere for the Rabbi to cobble from. I mean, movies with people like Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks and Bruce Willis and, you know, again and again. Anybody who's starting sort of action thriller pictures probably, certainly during like the 80s, 90s, and aughts, had Steve Wolf working on them, making sure things were safe, making sure if you blew something up, it blew up correctly because you basically get one shot and didn't hurt anybody. You know, stunts and car chases and things like that. And then he would go to schools and demonstrate physics using these kinds of things, like wowing the kids. He's like, hey, here's an amazing special effect. And these are the physics, or this is the physics that allowed this to get done. Well, Steve is back, right? I mean, he's never gone away. He's been doing this for years. He's been teaching for years. He's been doing stunt coordination and all this stuff for years. But he's also a polymath. He likes to start to do new and different things. And in working with explosions and fire for all these years, he started to get the feeling like, you know, a real problem in this country and other countries, obviously, as we saw this summer, is wildfires. It was kind of, you know, if you tried to breathe, even here in Maryland, for a week over the summer, you couldn't because you had these wildfires just whooshing down from Canada. If you're on the West Coast, you had them over in California, and I guess LA it was, the wildfires there. When Joyce and I were living in Colorado, there's one time, thank goodness only, we were nearly evacuated because there was a fire between us and, was it Fort Collins or Windsor? Where was it?
I think it was up the mountains, I don't know.
But I mean, we would pass, and it was just, and when we went to Pingree Park, we saw the remains of fires that had been years ago. And then some of the pine trees were first still coming back, and just otherwise brown.
Devastated,
yeah. So wildfires are a thing, and with global warming and everything else, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So Steve Wolf has been working on and perfecting and not prioritizing, but what's the word? Doing proprietary building and research of a way, he says, to combat wildfires. What would that be? And he was like, I think I can put weather, in a manner of speaking, together with technology.
Is he a storm chaser?
He's not a storm. It's sort of, well,
what's his main focus? Then is he a scientist?
Fire. He's a bit of everything. Amazingly enough, this is the thing that shocked me about him. He has an English degree from a university you know very well, in the Ivies.
Oh, Columbia?
Yeah. He's a Columbia graduate who studied Shakespeare.
What's he doing then?
What is he doing special effects and working with fire and all of this without a science, essentially, degree? So he is quite the person. He's actually a 2-time recipient of Time Warner's Science Presenter of the Year Award.
What is that?
I guess, I don't know, they go on TV, they go, yeah.
It doesn't mean like he demonstrates science?
He does. He goes on, he's sort of like the modern, exciting version of Julius Sumner Miller.
I was thinking of Space Science Theater.
Well, a little different, Mystery Science. But who was Bill Nye, like the science guy, that kind of thing.
Wow.
But in like a more, like, I'm going to blow something up and we're going to show you how that works.
Science labs like that. I was like, just do science for science. You don't got to put on a show.
Yeah, you do. A very popular show for like 4 or 5 years off Broadway was a guy who did science experiments and then kind of gently explained a little bit for like 9-year-olds the science behind them to get kids
interested.
Yeah, and this idea that things just don't happen, and it isn't just geniuses who come up with a light bulb idea. It's people who have all kinds of different ideas and understanding that when you learn angles and prisms and the way things work in a vacuum, or when you let oxygen into it, stuff happens, and here's how and why it happens. At least, this amount that science knows now, compared to 1,000 years from now, if we don't kill ourselves, science will know this much. But anyway, it's exciting to have Steve Wolf back in the Daverhood to be talking about, again, his special effects years and all of that, as well as his, I mean, it's so smart. It's like, of course, why not? Why wouldn't this work? This idea of how to fight wildfires and stuff. And he should be a lot of fun. I mean, the man's,
entertaining.
his skill set on a resume. He's also acting. He's just one of those.
He's just a guy who does everything.
He's been a preschool teacher.
My God.
I swear to God. He really, really, really has. A scuba instructor. Fire, air, and water. I mean, I guess if you know those three.
I wonder what his zodiac sign is.
Oh, that's it? Oh, I wonder if he's on the cusp of... I'm a Feces with Uranus rising. I don't know if you know that.
I'm not talking about that.
Yes, I am. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's Joyce. Hey, Joyce. So what else? Before we get to
show them your prime rib
Steve Wolf,
experience?
yes, let's do that. We have our Limerick. We have Greeley Times coming up as well, and a conversation with Steve Wolf, and that'll take us through this episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream, which airs live on Facebook Saturday mornings from 9 until, especially when I'm teaching, not quite noon, more like 11-ish or thereabouts. But we've been doing this since 2002, and we're still doing it. And we kind of usually start the program these days just letting you know things that happened in my week. Not a busy week, not an exciting week,
Well,
except for one
I
thing.
can play sexy lady for your meat experience.
Dave
I'm here this time.
got his meat. Now, I've been complaining and talking for the last couple of weeks about Mission Barbecue.
Yes.
How for weeks their Black Plate special was smoked meatloaf. I have nothing against meatloaf. I like meatloaf.
You like it better than the shrimps.
The shrimp was delicious.
They're tiny.
But it's like, 7 shrimps for $12. Like, fuck you. What am I eating this for? I can put shrimps on my grill.
The person gets mad at their food.
Oh, I was so mad. And I made a cheeseburger that was decent, but it's a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't, if it had been $6.99, I'd be like, okay.
It was a cheeseburger with fries and a whole deal.
Yeah, and a friggin' cheeseburger. Don't go to Mission Barbecue for cheese.
I know, but it was smoked.
Or meatloaf, which was smoked and yummy. I tried a piece of it.
They gave you a whole portion to try.
But this is also the kind of place where they have a Black Plate special where it'll be like ribeye steak.
Look at your eyes.
Smoked and rubbed with espresso.
Are constricting or dilating.
Right? And then they take that away after a few weeks. I'm like,
well, they have to.
Meatloaf! No, they don't. They can keep it on the menu. They can leave prime ribeye steak on the menu. Maybe they have to charge a little more for it.
Maybe they can't access it. The distributor.
What, they run out of cows?
Yes.
They're still making ribs. They still have it's a spare rib place. They got ribs. Just make a steak out of it. You can do that. All right, so on Black Plate special times, it's $13. Maybe in regular, it's $15. So it's special because it's a little cheaper. Leave it on the menu. What are you taking it away for? What's the matter with you?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Mission Barbecue Man.
Okay. I don't think there's maybe corporate. I don't know. You should text them.
And we've been, well, I don't have to now because they make me very happy.
Yes, you love it. You're a happy boy.
They
happy boy,
took away the meatloaf. Bye-bye, meatloaf. Go away, meatloaf. Go away, meatloaf.
Bye-bye.
Go away.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Loaf, loaf, loaf. I liked it. I didn't loaf it. So, and they replaced it finally, just around Thanksgiving time. And I thought, we talked about this also. I was like, oh, great. So Thanksgiving, of course, they're going to replace it now with a smoked turkey. Instead of meat.
We're very worried about that.
But I asked them 3 weeks ago. I said, no. There will be a turkey special for the holiday, but it's going to be a other special. Nothing to do with our Black Plate. I was like, so that made me hopeful.
If people eat turkey for 2-3 months, they're going to get tryptophan out.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah,
I love
fall asleep.
farting.
Oh, I do that. I do. If I have broccoli, I'm But this week, they switched their Black Plate special. And they didn't have rib steak. They didn't do their smoked rib steak or, rubbed with Hawaiian style or the espresso that they've had. They did not. Instead, they have prime rib. Which is cooked. It's medium rare. It's red, soft prime rib. The idea of this makes Dave happy.
Yeah.
So, of course, what was it? The second they opened was at 11:01 a.m. We ran.
No. You were very good because
I
it was almost noon, and I was like, David, and we didn't get your pigeon. You ate when you cooked the pigeon.
Oh, I made a pheasant this week, but yeah.
So bougie. but we were doing something. Were we in Wegmans? Oh, we were getting Leslie the book.
Right.
And so we were in Wegmans, and you're like, oh, and I was trying to get Mommy hopefully has lottery tickets for her birthday.
Yeah.
So I was at the machine waiting to get the lottery tickets, and you're like, oh, since you're there. It was about noon. You didn't do first thing. I think it was afternoon.
I know. I wasn't rushing it.
You weren't crazy. You held it
together.
Because
it's sort of that, I even talked about this in The Miracle of Long Johns, the delayed gratification thing. Of like, not just running there, like, I can wait, let me go to the bathroom, let me do this.
People have the first cuts, get the person used to cutting the meat and,
And so I waited, and I was rewarded when I finally toggled over to Mission Barbecue.
You ran, toddling, you mean running
I did not toggle.
Running like a crazy man, and then yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, old Dave got
that's the end one.
Prime rib. It goes backward. All right, let me go. Let me get to
the first one. You gotta find. I did
the horror.
It's not horrible. You look happy. I've never seen you so happy.
And I should mention also that Joyce and I, because of COVID and everything else, we generally eat in the car. We don't go into restaurants.
Well, we didn't go home because it would have been cold.
Yeah, it was too cold also to eat outside anywhere. Yeah. So a lot of times in cooler weather, we get the food, we do a takeout, we sit and eat in the car, which is why you're seeing me sit and eat in a car. So here I am, and it doesn't look like I'm having a good time here. I don't know why this shot starts the thing. Okay. But then I start eating. And then it becomes this.
So people could see it. No.
I'm holding it right up to the. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
like
meat.
The meat is so pink, it looks like you're eating salmon.
Yeah, it's chicken, right? Yeah. Doesn't it look like that? That is not chicken, that's not salmon. and then there's this.
It's my favorite one.
This is something like that, a Little Shop of Horrors and the dentist sketch.
Feed Audrey.
I was like, this is, I thought I look sort of cute and psychotic here at the same time.
You look very happy.
I look like a baby going back into the womb.
I don't think that's it. You should put some of these on Facebook and tag Mission.
Oh, I really should. Maybe they'll give me something for.
You should tag it.
Oh, whether this would make people want to run to Mission Barbecue.
I think it would. You look like you're loving it.
I am having a fabulous time.
Yeah, that's the point of them. The food.
I mean, just happiness.
You love the foodies.
Happiness in a plastic tray.
Yes.
Now, granted, since I'm Jewish, I'm gonna bitch a little bit. So, as delightful and joyous as this moment was, they could give you a side that isn't just the damn cornbread. They could throw a few fries on the plate, and make it a meal thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
That would be nice. Yeah. And also, I'm not gonna say it's the best prime rib ever. I'm not going to sit there and tell you, this is better than, some nice restaurant I had, or even necessarily Outback.
Yeah, two competitors, a local diner, and then one restaurant that does it on Thursdays, and one's like it has prime rib every day.
They have a billboard that says,
yes.
We have prime rib every day.
Is that, David,
I think it might be the PM.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Is it that other one, or Michael's?
No, they're Thursday, I think.
Thursday.
I can't remember your food thing.
I think Michael's is or one of them.
We could try that too if you want.
We could. After this Black Plate special is over,
yes,
and I'm jonesing for more prime rib, we'll try one of these other places,
that's a great idea.
But for a couple of weeks, it's going to be prime rib at the Mission Barbecue. So again, and of course, because we're even if you're eating in there, it's you have these plastic utensils. So I've got the fork and this little plastic knife. I'm like, for prime rib, this isn't cutting. It's not the tenderest. It's tender enough. It's prime freaking rib. With the au jus, they give you a cup
of a big bowl of it.
To pour over it. Oh. Could use a little horseradish sauce now that I think of it.
They gave you that, I think.
They did? Yeah. I don't remember that. Then they just give you the usual barbecue sauces. They don't have the actual horseradish.
Really?
I don't think so.
Ask for
I know I'm bitching,
You could ask
I
for it.
I could. Well, they won't if they have it, um, but beyond all my bitching, Mission Barbecue has prime rib, and they do charge a little. It's $14 instead of 13 that they were charging for the steaks. But you get a decent sized piece of meat. I do like big meat.
Talk about your the chicken.
Oh, I will. But I'm saying I will try it again. It was worth. I mean, if you get prime rib anywhere else, it's $25.
Yes.
So if you go to Mission for a very reasonably sized, tasty, not the softest, but certainly yummy.
Well, you can compare today and see if it's softer.
I could. I
Tell
will.
them you want a soft cut.
Yeah, it's not the kind of place where it's I guess I could tell them to put it on a little longer on the fire if you want to get less medium.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Maybe. I wonder.
Yeah. I'd ask them if they have any horseradish.
That doubtful. I might.
They might. You don't know.
But it was certainly good enough to make old Dave happy. Not that Dave is ever happy. I'm Jewish. But for that moment of eating, those 5 minutes of cutting in, tasting rib meat going into my mouth, yes. I achieved a certain level of moksha, the happiness quotient of life. And I hope to do so again today. And I Joyce and I are different in a lot of ways. I love trying new things. She does not. Certainly food she can't because she has a lot of food restrictions. But even then, you like what you like. And sometimes I do too. When we were back living in Colorado, my lunch every day, because of my time constraints and having a tea, it was like I would take a piece of roast chicken, the store-bought rotisserie chicken, nuke it, have peanuts with it, and that would be my lunch. And I might every single day. It was the same thing.
See?
But when I have the option to try new and different things, especially if I'm going out to quote-unquote eat.
Or like, I think a leftover thing. Well, we saw goose and they're so darn big and fatty.
Yeah.
But you wanted to get it back and you didn't see it. And then we went to an organic place and you saw
what's that?
Squab?
Yeah. And it's close to squab. It was pheasant.
Pheasant. What's the difference?
I don't know. Where's your phone? I have it. Yeah. I'm not sure the difference. What is a pheasant?
I'll ask.
I've only heard of rich people eating pheasant under glass. Didn't know what it was. Never had it for sure. Never seen it on a menu.
What's the difference between a squab and a pheasant? What is the squab? A squab. A squab is a young immature pigeon.
Oh. So what is a pheasant?
Pheasants versatile. What is considered a pheasant?
Yeah.
A large group of fowl of the I can't read that.
Oh, guinea hens? Sorry?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't taste like pigeon. Not that I've ever. No. A group of large, in a family of Phasianidae.
Yeah.
Includes partridges, guinea fowls, peafowls, quail. I think I have had quail. Yeah. And francolins.
And partridges. So it's a holiday thing, that's why.
Right, that's why they had it. That's why, they...
Oh, David, do you want me to get the book you found at Mom's?
Which one?
Where'd you put it?
Oh, get it for the Rabbi. It's in if you want to do it, it's in the living room on the shelves, in the bookshelves.
I'm gonna go get that.
Of all things, I forgot that's a story too.
That was so bizarre.
I mean, really. But Dave cooked a pheasant, and I had two options. I had two options to do it. So most of when I do something like that, I'm going to throw it in the crock pot and let it cook and simmer and get all moist, and then put apricot sauce or orange juice on it or something like that for any kind of fowl. But I didn't want to. It was the middle of the week. I was busy as hell. I didn't want to deal. Even though crock pot, you just kind of leave. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come home. I just want to do this, and I threw it in the air fryer. And it worked. Wasn't bad. I don't think it's so much more special than chicken that it's worth having pheasant instead of chicken. They can say, well, it tastes just like chicken. Yeah, if you're blindfolded and someone told, what am I eating? Chicken. And they told you it was pheasant, you'd be like, it tastes like chicken to me. It would. It did. They'd say it's a little more gamey. It chews a little differently. Some of it. It was not bad. but it was not so different from a basic regular roast or rotisserie chicken or a crock pot chicken that I would tell the difference. But I did. I put it in the air fryer, pop some olive oil on top of it just so that it got crispy on the skin. It was pretty good. I'm still having the leftovers as we speak because it isn't a giant bird though. It's not like a duck, which is actually mostly bone, or goose, which is much bigger and has more fat and meat on it. I wish I had more to tell about eating or making a pheasant. If I see it again, I'll try it again in the crock pot. But it's perfectly good. Nothing special.
This is because I had to get blueberries. You got the pheasant. We got a tea, and you met a guy who had a.
Oh my God!
And
I
then
did see
we found
this.
that. Yes, show the
Thank
picture.
you for remembering this.
Picture.
We can take a picture of him. Oh, so I'm glad I brought this guy over because no, this is not Susan Sarandon. This is representative of a man who I saw in.
It was a bagel place. Remember, I wanted tea because I was like, I felt like crap.
We went to our alternate bagel place.
Yes,
than the usual.
It's in like a strip mall that's near an organic grocery because we needed blueberries.
Right.
Blueberries begot the leftover Thanksgiving pheasant.
Yeah.
Which then begot the book you're holding, which then begot the tea, which then begot the man who
it's
was
all
unusual.
one set.
Yes.
How did I forget all this? So first of all, we're outside.
I just remembered by when the book came, when I touched the book, I remembered.
Touch the book. So you have to understand, these are weird times for Jewish people in the world in America. We're hated even more than usual. We're openly hated more than usual, right? And everything's politically contentious and fraught. And I had to pull down some signs from where I work. But we're outside the place where we shop.
It's like that free library exchange.
Yeah, I don't know if you have these where you live, but they're these little. They look like birdhouses. Only you open the doors and people leave books, or bring books and take books back for free. It's a lending. It's a free library, if you will.
So the woman in Colorado who did the one for the school, I think you have to make them. I think part of that is that you have to make it yourself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she told me.
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't normally see these in a Lowe's.
No, I think you make it and then you decorate it. There's one in our neighborhood that has one for adults and then a little tiny one for kids, and then a couple churches and schools have them. So they're very good. They're very popular.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna make a birdhouse, why not make a book house?
Yeah.
So when we always check these, even in story time that we've done, I found a couple of books in these book house
Some
things.
of them where we don't understand the story usually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And a lot of children's things were like.
Remember the one was like Rock goes hunting, Rock.
Oh, it was Boom Crack, not Boom.
Yeah, but there was
Crack-a-lacka.
no story.
No.
And no.
No. Yeah. We both looked at the end and it's like, what was this?
Even like waiting for Godot would seem more logical than. I was like, why? Well, you're gonna mess up a kid's head. This is not a story.
What was it? What was it called? It's not Boom Crack-a-lacka.
It was like Boom Crack Bang, Boom Bang, Boom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It scares me to this day.
We gave it back the next week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm running out of the house.
Yeah.
But so we're standing outside. We're about to get ready to go in and shop, for our basic usual produce and fruit and organic vegetable sort of needs. So it's like, okay, let's look, see if there's anything new in the book house that's right outside this place. And I'm thumbing through it, and I don't even notice it. And then I see this like, oh no, you found it. You found it, right? You found this giant volume.
It is
apropos
giant.
of nothing. I understand there's not like, sometimes someone will donate like The Hobbit trilogy or things like that, the Harry Potter series.
Or like I said, a kid's books. Or
we found the physics book. Remember physics for infants? Yeah.
That we got in Philly.
Was it?
Yeah.
Quantum physics?
Philly,
yes. Yeah. For infants and the whole series that they brought there. But Joyce opens up the book thing and I swear to you, finds this. The absolutely complete
Actually,
klezmer.
It's not absolutely complete.
No, it's missing a CD.
Yes.
Which broke my heart because we actually have a CD player in the car.
Read the quote in the beginning. Here, I'll give it to you.
Oh, please, you could read it. Read it out loud.
It's my favorite thing that somebody ever said.
Oh, God, what?
I gotta find it.
So no other Jewish books. It's a somewhat
listen,
Jewishy
I think
neighborhood.
we didn't get-
Yeah, listen.
The quote says, "The girl who can't dance says the band can't play."
Oh.
You know.
Which is like, what does that have to do? It's like
it means that the girl saying the band is bad, but
Yeah.
she can't dance.
But
What does
why
she
would that
know?
open a music book? It's the
Because
last
No,
thing.
it's in Yiddish though.
Oh.
It's a common.
Als die Mädel kann nicht tanzen, sagt die klezmer können nicht spielen.
Because they're saying that klezmer musicians constantly get,
Oh, is it?
get grief, but it's
Yeah.
really not the musician. It's the fact that the people don't get the music, right?
And the acknowledgement for the author of this book. The first time I heard this Yiddish folk saying was from Meyer Blecher. Can you get a more Jewish name than Meyer
It
Blecher?
sounds like a disease. I've got the bleckles.
And check this out. While I was doing klezmer field research in the Carpathian Mountains in the town of Hust in southwest Ukraine.
He's an alum like you.
Oh, NYU?
Yeah.
Oh,
I read the thing you didn't read.
when
you were looking at the man and getting my tea, I read the whole acknowledgement, the intro. I read the whole deal.
This is so
He's
great.
like an ethnographer of music. It's a beautiful book.
It's a fantastic. I mean, it's for anybody. It's a fake book.
I think the person just wanted the CD.
Well, and then they kept the CD and
Yeah.
threw away. I would love the CD on this because if you've ever wondered how Dobranosh 2
Yes.
or Dobranosh 3
Yes. How do they
is
differ?
played,
How do they differ from one?
a lot of these don't have lyrics. They're just the nigunim, just the
Music.
songs. Dobry Den, which means good morning. Gershfeld's Gasnigen.
God bless
It's
you.
a song that Gershfeld sang when he was being gassed. That's the
Nice.
song right there.
So
Stuchevsky's Gasnigen. So they killed a lot of people in Auschwitz on that day. Die Mechutzene, the wedding. Oh, the mother-in-law. Die Mechutenetste. Mechutenetste, right?
You gotta pronounce it, Bookie.
Wer es ken Keseder zählen?
Where is who?
Who can count in order? Say, you hear the word Seder in there. Who can count in order? Wer es ken Keseder zählen? I love it. I love it. I love it. This Kostakowski's Bulgar.
But while I was reading this, who did you see getting my tea?
Well, all right. So Joyce is getting this.
I'm reading
This
the
wonderful
quote.
thing.
I'm enjoying that.
Von der Gruppe Marsch.
I'm watching a young boy get his hair cut in a big car in the barber. It's like a children's barber. It was starting to rain. I moved near the like edible arrangements, place. And you're in there. You're like, you're never gonna believe what I saw.
Yeah, I was.
A bagel. It's a bagel place.
Oh my God! All right. So Joyce was looking at this book, the Zilben
How come
Chasen
we've
at the
never
Silver
seen
Wedding.
him before? How come we've never seen that man before?
I'm kind of glad we haven't, because this is the kind of thing where you've seen him
Was he
on
working
TV.
there or ordering?
No, he's just eating. He was just eating. Oh no, if he worked out, we'd never go back in that. There was So while she's looking at ironically, looking at a klezmer book while I'm at a bagel place, it doesn't get more Jewy than that. Except in this bagel place, it doesn't get more piggy than this. Not even really paying it. I'm waiting for, because I just was in there. I think I was just getting tea.
No, not that. Not my phone.
Oh,
I
phone,
want to
yeah.
see if I can find images of like a.
Yeah. I go in.
Did he look like the guy from Duckman?
Kind of, intentionally. There was a man there who altered himself using, I guess, tattoos and where they put things literally under your skin to change the shape of your head. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. A real human being, not a Halloween costume, who was body modifying himself to look like a pig. So he had a pig
The
nose.
guy who looked like a border collie.
Actually, if you want to gross people out, put like body modification human pig.
I put man looks like pig.
Because this wasn't just some guy who unfortunately had like a piggy nose or had pink complexion and was fat or anything. This was presumably a formerly normal human being who was altering himself. Didn't quite look like that guy in the middle there. It's almost as if Louis C.K., if you took him, gave him a true actual like snouty pig nose and then put bumps under his scalp, under his head. Well, it won't be under the scalp, it'll be under the skin over the scalp to give him ridges and bumps and almost pig-like ears. And everybody kind of was like, they glanced at him and then very quickly sort of looked away. Because, if you look at that, you kind of lose your appetite for eating anything. And there's wanting to change how you look and be unusual and different. And then there's kind of, hey, I'm mentally ill and I want to share this with you. There's a certain kind of something that's in the brain that would make a human being want to go through life. It's like,
these are special effects.
The people who, and I have seen also people on the street who are face tattooed. And I don't mean the folks from prison who, lose a friend that they were being raped by, and then they put like 2 teardrops under their eyes. It's like, you see people who mess up their face with ink, and they think this is a thing. They think this is a beautiful thing. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I can't believe we never saw the person before. Maybe they were in for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's not like we patronize that bagel place every day. I couldn't. Next time I go back in there, I'm both going to be dreading and looking for Pigman.
Yeah.
And I try, and the thing that really annoyed me was that, because he didn't bother anybody, he was just getting his food. He sat down at a table, but the table was near.
Was it his nose too?
Yes, it was like a piggy, like a snout nose that he did to himself.
Do you think it just wasn't the way he looked? Do you think he actually?
Oh no, I would have said maybe, he had a bad nose, but he had the bumps.
Was it a mask?
No, it was not Halloween. It was an actual body mod.
If he wore a hat, no one would have seen.
Well, if he wore a mask, for COVID, he was eating. He was going to sit down and have a bagel.
He could wear a hat on his head.
What would that do? Well, it would cover the bumps, but I mean, I was so astonished. And then he takes the table that's like kind of near the rear in the bathroom. So when I came out, because I don't even think I was getting bagel, I think I was just getting a tea for you. And I come out and I try and like look through, and so I have my camera ready, and you couldn't see him. And so I was like, damn! If he had a table near the window, and of course, if he had a table near the window, if I were the owner of the bagel place, I mean, sir, I will comp your meal and give you $10 if you take the table by the restroom and face away.
I pee-pee a lot, so I could have gone to see you, and you should have said, "Come in and pee-pee."
I think I did. I said, or maybe I warned you, because you were standing up.
I couldn't have. Yeah, it would probably upset me.
I would have been like, honey, you have no idea. And you were like, Dave, I got a klezmer book. I'm like, I don't care.
No.
Because normally you'd be like, Dave's going to be amazed. I got a klezmer book for him. And I come out of the bagel place shell-shocked.
You were like, you never believe what happened. I thought maybe like your credit card didn't work, or maybe you lost your credit card, or somebody got sick or something.
And it was miserable kind of cold, rainy weather. Also, let's stand here a while and see. Let's wait until he finishes his meal and comes on out.
Was he alone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Big shock.
Big shock. No one knows what it's like to be the Pigman.
Did you ever read the Pigman? I never did.
I read Pygmalion.
I read, Pygmalion I read too, but there was a book by Paul Zindel that was very popular when I was growing up.
I didn't read that.
It's called The Pigman. Probably should read that.
Read that.
But anyway, it was that kind of day. We go to the place, a klezmer book, and then
a laugh,
piggy,
a tear,
a mitzvah. I love it. Here, that's the way. We got what are the prelix in here? What else? What else can I share with you? Knefel's share.
What's that mean?
I'm not sure. A share. It's not a shiur. It's not a lesson. Knefel's share. I don't know. Arida Chosedel, which is Romanian.
It means don't look at the Pigman in the bagel store.
Reb Zalman's niggin. That's Sal also known as the Alter Rebbe's niggin. Okay.
The old Rebbe.
And Russische Kamarinsky, Russian Kamarinska. Well, that's helpful. This is so amazingly. Vals von Bosnia. Bosnian waltz. Yeah, Yiddish is not that far from English. Vals von Lublin, a Lubliner waltz. And then of course we have our wonderful gas niggins again. Polish polka, which is of course Irish. Mitzvah dance. Oh, excellent. Oh, I could. Good deed dance. Isn't that lovely?
Goody dance?
A good deed dance.
Oh, I like that.
And so let's see if some of these have, a couple of them have lyrics. Most of them, what klezmer band is not necessarily done on.
Wasn't it mostly improvisational too, right? They begin with the lyric melody and then they riff on each other.
Yeah. It's closer to jazz, and folk tunes and anything else.
It's the one time you threw up in Central Park too.
To go see the New Orleans Klezmer Ensemble.
Yeah.
Yes. Came out. We had gone to. It wasn't Serendipities. It was some other place.
No, it was like Cafe Mozart, I think.
Yeah, and I had like a big ice cream sundae on a hot day, and it just like.
Yeah, it was a great
It's a
time.
beautiful thing. Only one or two of these have lyrics. That is a shame. One of them is a song we actually learned in Hebrew school, Shir HaMa'alot,
What
a
is
song
it?
of ascents.
Ascent? Ascent. To ascend.
Yeah, so
To heaven? What is
Shir
somewhere-
HaMa'alot, Beshuv Adonai Es Shivat Zion Hoyu.
What does it mean?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, it's a song for God, I lost it. Oopsies. As if God needs more songs. But I hope that
It needs a good album cover.
when this was written, I think Velvel Pasternak, who was on this program, was still alive. And he was a musicologist, a Hebrew Jewish collector of klezmer and Yiddish music. And I don't think they kind of acknowledge him at some point.
I don't remember the whole thing, because after you told me about the pigman, I kind of got shocked of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Oh, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the 920th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife Joyce, and Piggy, not the pig man, but close enough. There he is.
They said copyright infringement. He's mad.
On the man. Yeah, that's true. You can't do that.
No.
Coming up in just about 15 minutes, we'll have our guest in the Daverhood, Steve Wolf, who is the creator of special effects and pyrotechnics. He's not here yet, but he'll be coming in to chat with, speaking of Jewish things, Rabbi Saul Solomon, the one, the only, the Jewish. And Rabbi Saul hasn't been on this show in a little while. It'd be really, really cool to have him back.
He's been in prison, no?
Has he really? Yeah. Yeah. What did he do?
We can't talk about it.
Oh,
He signed a non-disclosure agreement.
he got a little too angry at a protester, and let's just say there were knives and pyrotechnics
No, I actually
involved.
think it was him and the pig man. They had some sort of relationship.
Well, he was mad at the guy because the guy was originally going to turn himself into, a kosher cow. A knish. He was going to turn himself, and he said, "No, I'm going with pig." And Rabbi Saul just said, "No, not going to do that."
There was a botched oil issue. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What else can we do? You know what we can do before? Because I want to save Greeley times for after the guest because we've only got about 10 minutes now, and we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming.
Yeah.
You know what it's time for.
Oh, do you have your wait, give your voice. Show which voice you're going to do it in.
Oh, so Joyce got this from. So where did you get this again?
By GA.
Oh, all right. Okay, so
It's used.
What does it represent?
It's used to teach children what voice to use when they're doing stuff. So it's important to it's a scale of a loud or quiet voice.
Right. So Joyce thinks I'm always here.
I think
or
you're 4
here.
or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm generally when I'm in class, even in a classroom of like a small classroom, I'm like
I think you're 5.
here to
You're
here.
4.5. Yeah.
Constant yelling.
Yes.
um,
that would be 6 for you. Constant yelling.
But whisper, I find it very hard to whisper. It hurts my voice more to whisper than to talk in like a louder voice. Even this hurts my throat. You're figuring out using your vocal cords, but it's still...
You're an odd bird.
Yeah, I need to let them... No, I'll never
you need
forget
the
this.
juices of the prime rib.
No, but this... When I was taking my summer master's degree over at the university, and they were teaching us acting, they were teaching us voice and how to protect your voice.
Yeah.
One of the teachers that I had, professors, I don't know if she's a doctor, one of her skill sets is that she could do a horror movie scream. I mean, literally like that old school Universal Pictures, Abbott and Costello, like, ah! And she just scared the shit out of us. But she was like, it's nothing. It's just a thing you do with your... I could do it like 50 times a day because I'm doing it knowingly. I know what I'm doing. I know, and I'm not going to burn my throat out because I'm not, whereas somebody who doesn't know what they're doing can get up on stage
Scream.
for 2 hours, not scream like this, but just yell or use their and hurt their voice and then have to go on vocal rest and stuff and hurt the notes. So this was a kind of, she couldn't teach me that, but it was sort of like an interesting thing. Like, you heard her and it sounded like she was shredding her vocal cord. She wasn't. It was just a thing that she could do with her voice because she knew how.
She learned how.
Yeah. But let me show you what I can do with my feet. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is on Dave's
Get
Gone
your
By.
Bunion scale, which mirrors that scale.
It's Bunion time. Where is it? Well, I'm sorry, not Bunion time. It's what we really call Bunion Watch.
She's Bunion, she really is a fun one, she's Bunion. Listen, doctor, to my plea, it's time for bunionectomy. Bunions, they're a pain in our feet. Feet of mine have got to go, please get these bunions off my toes. My alpha foot will always have my alpha bunions, painful, bunions, painful, pain.
Yeah, the My Pal Foot doesn't really fade. It goes off the meter there. I probably should snip that part out.
I think it's a good mishmash of Bunion-related songs.
Bunion-related songs. So let me show you my foot because we've been since, it's been about 3.5 months now since we started doing
Since we start the Bunion Watch?
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Because old Dave,
Dun-dun-dun.
brief reminder of this, that on the first day of teaching classes again for the fall semester, I wore a pair of shoes or sneakers that I thought I had broken in, but I hadn't broken them in enough, and they rubbed my foot raw, and it was agony for about a week and a half. It helped a lot. Like I got one of those bunion plasters and the moleskin things. But ever since, I thought, you know what? I share so much on this program. That's something I probably talked about, my cleft palate and the hair and the baldness,
Everything,
of course.
Yeah, your flatus.
My scrotum, the left ball being
that
larger.
was the whole area.
The itch of my scrotum and all that.
Yes.
Why not share my bunions?
Yeah.
Why not share this thing right here? Now, this is not the foot, as I said, that had the problem. Look, it's pretty staggering when I do it like this.
A sculpture.
Yeah, this is Mount Everest. This is Bunionest.
Bunion Everest.
It's Bunionanjaro.
Yes.
Look at that. It's like a ski lift. It can go, right?
Yeah.
But this was not the foot that had the problem.
Skater's ramp for the skateboarders.
This is the foot, amazingly enough, with a much smaller bunion right there.
Maybe it's that one's just new and tender. The other one's more worn.
I know.
Like
This bunion is.
yeah.
I've seen everything.
Yeah, it takes a lot to move me.
It's those newbie bunions that have the
They
problem.
don't know how to surface the shoe.
So, but now I check to see if my bunions are ever painful. Yes, ladies and
Who
gentlemen.
says that visual media is dead? Or
That's right. This is why the internet was born.
Why don't you use this to tap your bunions? And
Oh yeah, let's do this.
This would
Let's
be
do
a
this.
good.
I don't know if I can read. Yeah, I
Of
can.
course you can. Hold on, I'm carrying one for you.
I wonder if Steve Wolf is already watching this because he just logged on.
Oh, I'm
One
sure
second.
he's enjoying it.
He's saying, I'm going on this show, am I?
Wait, turn off the.
Yeah, I gotta turn off this music. There we go.
Okay. Press the button and make it.
Oh, do the
Yeah,
symbol? Hold
yeah.
on. Oh.
No. I like that one. Yeah. Demonstrate.
If I have any kind of legacy at all, it's not going to be from my plays, alas. It won't be from any.
Yes,
it will be
it
from the
will.
fact somebody's said, I once watched this show
Where a man used Walgreens drumsticks to play his bunions.
This the stupidest television I have ever seen.
Honey, give me those.
Yeah.
I'll turn them off, yeah.
Someone will literally say, I I thought I was dreaming this, but there was a man on the internet.
Yes. Playing drumsticks on his bucket.
Electric drums, and he wasn't just playing the electric drum, which was stupid to begin with.
Yes, he was demonstrating Bunion watch.
He was actually playing his bunion.
God bless you.
This makes me joyful.
Yeah, but I feel like you're doing a really good service because there might be many people who have bunion. They're ashamed of their bunions, and they probably run to get them fixed and eliminate bunions. But you're engendering bunion pride to be proud of your bunions and keep them as part of your body.
If you have bunion shame people, it's time to come out of the closet.
Yes.
Your shoe closet.
I'm sure foot fetishes love it.
They
They probably just like frame by frame go over it.
I think, oh yeah.
What's that thing they pay? Like not Mashup. It's some website where people go on and do naughty stuff and they pay per hour. Like they probably like post it on there. It's like, have you seen the latest Bunion watch? Like you could have your own Bunion watch, the cubicle where you just do
they have that episode of I Love Lucy where Lucy and Ethel are stomping the grapes. And they're like getting into that.
You could do grape stomping. You could wear like boots, take off your socks, show your foot lint. I think you could have a whole.
If I had a tongue long enough, and I back in the day, I used to be able to bite my own toenails. I can't do that.
No, but I think they want to see your feet naturally.
Yeah, but I could lick my own bunion.
Like walking through dirt, or maybe like sand on a beach, or maybe in the bathtub in water.
We have a stick of butter in the fridge. I could slowly rub butter on my bunion.
I don't know if that's too much like food, though. You'd have to see what people like. Yeah. I mean, that I don't know.
We could do like, remember when Ronald Rand gave me that painted rock? We get like watercolors and paint faces on my bunions.
I think that'd be really cute.
That would be. I'd still have my body modified and put a fake bunion on top of my bunion.
Maybe get a prosthetic bunion.
Wow.
I think our neighbor's getting food.
Oh, what kind?
Like it's a DoorDash.
I like food.
I don't know what it is.
I want food. Food is good. Anyway, help me do the thing. In 2 minutes. Well, yeah. Coming to the Daverhood right now is our friend of the Daverhood from 10 years ago.
Play for him. Here I am, rock me like a hurricane, right? Or some kind of.
Or is it you? He is like a hurricane because he's built. I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to say that he is, or has spent many, many years working with Hollywood films and Hollywood production studios and things like that to create pyrotechnics and car explosions and fires and all these things. Now he's trying to put some of that science to use to really not just help people be entertained, but to fix a big problem in the world, which is wildfires that come, obviously this past summer, we were all tremendously affected by this and will be. So, coming to the Daverhood in a minute is Steve Wolf. And he was a great guest on Dave's Gone By literally 11 years ago. Wow. He's back. I met him at an online conference. A decade redo. Yeah. I'm so excited by this because it's going to be a great conversation with Steve Wolf. My only disappointment is that I'm not going to get to talk to him. But Rabbi Sal Solomon is. Die. Oh, shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. And turns out over the past month or two, I've got more enemies than I ever could possibly have imagined. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a friend coming to the Daverhood, joining us in a moment. And he's someone who has been on this program more than a decade ago, but I didn't get to talk to him. This saddens me. But today I will, and I do, because Steve Wolf is with us here, bidding us a good shalom this Saturday. Let me tell you a little bit about Steve Wolf. Back in the day, even though he's still doing this, he was a stunt person. He did special effects, explosions and fires and things like that. Well, he's still, of course, doing that. But now he's putting that scientific knowledge of how to create destruction and disaster in stopping destruction and disaster. But let me tell you something else about this. If you were to read this man's resume in terms of things he does and has done in his life, he went to Columbia University where he studied Shakespeare, nothing to do with what he's doing, but he's also been an EMT, a scuba instructor, a firearms instructor, this makes sense, a private investigator, a pyrotechnician, a film director, a TV producer, a writer, an actor, a publicist, and a preschool teacher, which is really interesting when I wonder if the firearm instruction was for preschool kids. We're going to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you? Wow. And he even ran a school for dyslexic children, which is amazing. Anyway, won't you please welcome to the Daverhood, Steve Wolf. Shalom, Steve. How you doing?
Good morning, chatbot. Shalom.
I am not possibly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Rabbi?
Thank God, I'm doing all right, and the whole world hates me, but it's all right, because I have you here in the Daverhood, because you reconnected with Dave, who is the producer of this program, just a day or two ago in a conference where he first met you, like all those years back, to promote what you're doing. Now, before you were promoting that, you were going around to schools and giving lectures and talks. As a matter of fact, you were the winner twice of Time Warner's Science Presenter of the Year Award. Yay. But now you're working on something else. What is it?
Boy, I'm exhausted just listening to all the crap.
I exhaust myself listening to me, yes.
Yeah. Well, what I'm working on now is trying to figure out how we're going to get this wildfire problem under control. I live in Boulder, Colorado right now. And one day I looked out the window and it was nighttime, but it was bright as could be out there. And I said, what the heck's going on? 3 towns were on fire at once. Superior, Louisville, Marshall. It was called the Marshall Fire. Right. And 1,000 homes burned down in just a matter of just a few hours.
How long ago was this? This was when?
This was 2 years ago, this coming New Year's.
Right.
So this really dispelled the idea that there's a fire season, right? If you could have a fire like this, the last day of December. And this fire was driven by 100-mile-an-hour winds. And in my special effects work, I did a lot of work with fire and a lot of work with wind. And I went and I asked these fire guys the next day, I said, what happened? What are we going to have to do to get these fires under control? And they said, Steve, it would take a hurricane to put these fires out. And I said, I'll be right back. And I went and I gathered my special effects team and some firefighters and raised $3.5 million. And we built a hurricane on wheels for the fire department. And what we're doing is we're using giant jet engines like this, mounting them on trucks, and then feeding fire retardant into the exhaust so we could blow the retardant at the fire at several hundred miles an hour.
Now, I already have so many questions. First of all, is it really right to use retarded people for this purpose? I mean, I think probably not do this. It's nobody misses them. No, but why is fire quote unquote retardant better than just water?
Well, water's good too. The thing about water is that water has a self-love affair, right? Water molecules love to hang out with each other. That's why if you put water in a drop, the drop will sit there like this, defying gravity rather than going like this, because these molecules are so strongly attracted to each other. So if you want those water molecules to separate and actually penetrate dry leaves, dry brush, homes, whatever, and get onto the fuels and get absorbed in the fuels, then you have to lower the surface tension within the water molecule. And you do that with the surfactants, which is just a fancy word for soap, essentially. And that's why we put soap into laundry detergent, so that the water dissolves the dirt in our clothes rather than just clumping up to itself. So retardants need not be anything more than
So if you have a
soap,
stove,
basically.
an oven thing, and you get you have that canister, the extinguisher. That's
Yeah.
mainly soapy suds.
Well, for a fire extinguisher, they use different chemicals. So to have a fire, Rabbi, you have to have 4 different things, right? You have to have fuel, which is anything that burns. You have to have oxygen. You have to have heat, and you have to have a chemical reaction.
Well, first of all,
And so
you're leaving out God. You have 5 things. You need God.
5 things, right? Is the spark. That's what makes it, right?
But
But
you need
so to take away fire, you have to just remove any one of those things. So most fire extinguishers work by removing the oxygen. They have an oxygen snuffing compound. They put out something in the air that displaces the oxygen. Even steam will do that. As long as you drive the oxygen away, you get rid of the fire. Now, if you have a hurricane, you can physically blow the fuels away, right? That means you're blowing away the leaves, the trees, the debris, all that stuff. So once there's nothing left to burn, no fire, right? So you could literally blow fuels out. When you shoot the retardant on there, it turns into steam, and that displaces the oxygen. And then if you ever got out of the shower and you're wet and there's windy,
yeah.
now that happens too, but also you get cold. And so you get this thing called evaporative cooling. And evaporative cooling, you're reducing the heat. So when you reduce the heat in chemicals, it slows down that chemical reaction that we call fire.
When I'm sitting too long in the theater or the movie or something, I piss my pants, and first it's warm, and then it gets cool very quickly down there.
Yes, that's right. So you get that evaporation, right?
And
then I'm pretty sure your parents taught you how to put out fire on your first birthday. What do?
Well, no,
you put a candle in front of you and you go like that, right? And so using convection, you blow the heat away, you disrupt the fire, and it goes out.
But the problem is, most fires, and the problem with fires in places that are dry, like Colorado, like Canada, for crying out loud,
yes,
is that it is blowing. Wind is blowing. But the problem is it takes one tree that's on fire, it blows a branch onto another tree. The wind is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're fighting wind with wind. You've got wind coming at you at 30, 40 miles an hour. You blow back at 250 miles an hour. Who's going to win?
But aren't you still blowing in another direction, or with fire retardant?
You're blowing it, but you get out in front of the fire. Yeah, and you blow the fire back over the area that's already been burned, where there's nothing left to burn. So you can do that. You could also just lay out retardant in front of the fire very aggressively, because you're blowing it out there with jet engines. You could cover several hundred feet at a time with retardant out in front of the fire. When the fire gets there, it can't burn anymore.
Why is it so hard to, as we've said, we've sent probes. You should pardon the expression, probes up to Venus, and then we've got men on the moon. Why is it we still have these enormous wildfires that we can't figure out? Well, just cover things with water and retardant and air and blow. Why can't we control these things?
Well, we can. The thing is that we haven't yet.
Why?
So why? I don't know. Why does it take the post office so long to get your mail to you, but FedEx can get it there overnight? So, maybe it's the difference between a government approach to something and a private approach to something.
The Elon Musk flying into the air as opposed to waiting for NASA to kind of, no, I'm not kidding. I'm saying this.
Right. No. Right. Yeah. So, and God bless firemen, and they do the best they can with the tools they've got. It's just that the tools they've got in many cases are 1,000 years old. They're armed with what I describe as medieval gardening tools, right? You got a rake, you got a shovel, maybe you got an axe. That's what is that going to do against 200-foot wall of fire? Nothing.
How do you bring your hurricane idea to a remote place that may not? Because that was one of the problems with Canada. That it wasn't like you could just drive a bunch of fire engines up to to where these fires were burning. What
Sure.
can you do a hurricane from? I mean, that sounds almost contradictory. Can you do a hurricane from the air?
Well, you can drop one of these trucks in. So I'm using logging trucks as my base vehicle, because unlike fire trucks, which are, referred to as pavement queens, they can only go where there's a road. Logging trucks are made to get up into the woods. So it's a much better base vehicle, right? If a tree can grow there, a logging truck can go there. And so that's how we're delivering the jet engine technology. Now, there's places where the forest cover is going to be so dense we can't go. You're going to need airplanes for that, or the slope is so high that a tree could not get there. But the real thing we're worried about with the wildfires is the destruction of things that we built and that we insure: homes, hospitals, military bases. There's roads at all these places.
Oh,
If we have to prioritize, right, we want to make sure first we don't burn down any nuclear plants or any hospitals or any schools,
yeah.
right? And then way down the list is the woods themselves. And that's important because, trees are nature's natural carbon sequestration technology, right? Most of the weight of a tree is made from carbon that it's sucked out of the air from CO2. So as long as that tree is sitting there, that carbon is safely sequestered, as they say, like the jury on the recent case. But when the tree burns up, all that carbon gets put back up into the air, and it's sooty, and soot is dark. Dark things hold heat more, right? They heat up more in the sun. So not only you're putting back this CO2 in the air, which acts as a blanket that holds heat in, but you're putting this soot in the air, which increases the heating of the atmosphere. Plus, you're just burning, hundreds of thousands of acres. That puts more heat in the atmosphere. So it's probably no coincidence, right, Rabbi, that the hottest month ever on record last June, July, happened to coincide with the burning of millions of acres in Canada. Well, the heat's got to go somewhere.
Well, let me ask you, I never also understood this of
Go ahead.
what they do where they do controlled fires.
Yes.
I never understood. Like, hey, how do we fight forest fire? How do we stop it? Oh, I know. Let's set some fires. Like a
Right.
perimeter. Why not just have a perimeter of retardant? Why would you
Yes.
to stop fires?
Right. So first of all, we should not call it a controlled fire, because that might imply that we actually control it. It's called a prescribed fire now. But they do get out of control. So to call it controlled, like the giant fire in New Mexico, that came right up on Santa Fe, that fire, which took many, many homes and cost lives, that was a prescribed burn that the government was doing, got out of control. Just those two. So yes, you just define your fire area, and then you lay out a 200-300 foot swath of retardant around it to contain it the best you can, because you also get something called ember cast. This is not a new technology for disseminating embers on the internet, but ember cast is what they call when, the trees release embers, the winds deliver those embers, 40, 50 miles away. And then that starts a new fire somewhere else.
That's what I never understood this idea of because it occurred to me, okay, so a fire burns up, but it's still, there's going to be desiccated trees that are just burned to ash. There's like trees with no leaves on it. Those can still burn. Like if a new fire comes at that tree, it's going to burn the rest of what's there. I never understood any of this.
If you've made fires, in the fireplace, and you start with a little kindling and you crumple up a New York Times, and then you put the big logs on top, because if you're burning fuels where you have a lot of surface area to a little bit of mass, like a piece of paper, a twig, right? That surface area can absorb heat and ignite faster than the log itself, right? If you hold the lighter to the log, you're just going to burn your fingers before you get the log to catch, right? So the same thing with a tree. The trunk is the hardest part to catch. And that's why even after the fires come through, you still see a lot of trunks standing. But what's burning, right, what's actually conducting the heat to that tree in the first place to start the ignition is the leaves and the small twigs on it. So when the fire comes through, it's being basically, running through this paper trail of leaves really, really quickly. Sometimes faster than 100 miles an hour. So, yes, you could get that trunk to reignite, but it would be pretty hard.
I just want, wow. Okay, by the way, we're talking with Steve Wolf here. Now, Steve, I remember you did have a book about what you did, more about the stunt stuff, because we talked a lot about the fire. What was, kind of remind me the name of the book that you
The latest book was The Secret Science Behind Movie Stunts and Special Effects.
Secrets. Is that still available?
Still around, it's a popular book with kids.
Yeah, because if you want to go back and hear Dave's interview with Steve about a decade ago, it talks a lot about the stunts. And you worked on movies, big Hollywood. Like, what is the biggest stunt that you ever had to create, pyrotechnic or otherwise, or a big car chase or whatever it was?
The biggest stunt was trying to get paid once after I had done a movie. But
oh, come on, you can bitch. Who what film?
All right, so she's dead now, so we can talk. I worked on a Whitney Houston video, "I'm Your Baby Tonight."
Wow.
And the director, what a piece of work.
Or who is he alive? Who is he?
I have no idea. And if he's not, I'm not going to lose any tears. But we had this effect we're going to do in there where Whitney Houston's supposed to walk up to a mirror and put her hand through it. Now, this is pre-CGI, pre-digital everything, right? So we did this effect by making a pool of liquid mercury. And then the idea was that Whitney would be over it, and then she could just push her hand down into the mercury. It would look like she was pushing her hand through a mirror if you put the camera above.
Right.
Well, we ran out of time on that shoot. They didn't get to that shot in the studio. And they said, "All right, well, if you could just bring your liquid mercury, we're going to be filming out under the bridge by the East River. And we'll just do it over there as a pickup shot." And it's like, no, you will not put 100 pounds of mercury where if it leaks, it's going to go right into the river and, pollute it for 1,000 years. They're not doing it. And this director comes on and he smacks me in the face. Says, "Where did we find this guy? Why can't we get someone to cooperate with us?" Like, screw yourself, buddy. So.
Did you sue him?
I didn't sue him, well, what are you gonna do?
Did you punch him back at least or something? Did you?
No. But in the next scene, they needed hoses to wet stuff, and they hadn't anticipated this. And I had a couple, 30 hoses on my truck, and they said, "Oh, can we borrow some of your hoses?" I said, "Sure, you can. They're $500 an hour each. How many would you like?" And they said, "What are you talking about? They sell these at Home Depot for $29. I said, "Well, if you want to wait till 7 hours till Home Depot opens, you're welcome to." So
good.
What goes around comes around, right?
Let me ask you. So
I have worked with a lot of good stars. I worked with Tom Cruise. He was absolutely amazing to work with.
Well, how was Whitney a bitch, or was she very nice? And
Whitney was very nice, and she was struggling with addiction at the time.
And go figure, she died of mercury poisoning. So
she did not, because she never put her hand in it. It was my hand in the video. I stunt doubled for Whitney Houston.
No, I'm sorry, Steve. Why? I'm afraid of putting an old thermometer in my mouth for fear that I'll break and get mercury in my face.
Sure.
You would put your hand, and I guess to practice this stunt, you did. You put your hand in mercury.
I did. So
terrified.
So some people, they told me it would cause hair loss. What do they know, right? So mercury is really dangerous when you heat it and you breathe the vapors. It gets into you, and then you're done. In this case, it was a liquid. It was cool. I had a rubber glove on, a very tight surgical glove that I painted to match Whitney Houston's skin color. And then I just reach my hand in and take it out, so we didn't have to worry about her thinking, "Oh, whoa, what is this?" and trying to.
Because it was, and it didn't turn into little balls. Because doesn't it do that?
No, because it was in a big a table that I lined with latex to make it into a pool.
How long did it take you to do it is right, but to design it, create it, test it, to make sure.
Yeah.
How long did again? Weren't you afraid of something going wrong in the R&D of it leaking somewhere.
Yeah, well, you know, I have a week to prep for something like this, even though it only takes a second on camera.
Yeah.
You know, there's the building the table and building the well where it's deeper than the most of it could be very shallow, so you're not using a lot of mercury. It only needed to be deep on that table in the part where the hand protrudes, so you use the least amount of mercury possible.
And you made the joke about this, but
yeah,
you know, the losing your hair and
what hair?
In a fire, or is it an alopecia, or why don't you have?
Yeah, I have alopecia. So when I was 19, 20-ish, my hair started to fall out, little patches of this, and then the patches grow until they all connect and there's no hair left. So this has created a very fire resistant aerodynamic effect for me.
True.
You know, and you know, it makes you more, you know, you stand out a little bit. And then when I see you, you know, 3 days ago or so, like Dave, I saw your producer, and he says, "Oh, I remember you." Now, probably if I was just another hairy gray guy,
you know. Let me ask you though. You mentioned Tom Cruise was a nice person.
Yes, he is.
And what did you do for him?
I was the special effects coordinator on a movie called The Firm, which was the first of the John Grisham books.
Yeah.
And great book, great script, great director, Sidney Pollack, and got to work with Tom, and what a treat that was. This guy is the consummate professional. First guy on the set, you know, always knows his lines, polite to everybody he works with. He hears any complaint on the set, he sees some guy going, "Ugh, these hours are killing me. Let me get a massage therapist over there." Hired a massage therapist to just walk around and rub the crew's shoulders. He heard somebody complain about the food. He paid for the top catering company in the world, I think 4 Stars Cater, to come and take over catering for the movie. He wanted everybody on the set to be happy. He said, "Look, I show up, I do a hard job, and I put everything into it. And you guys are doing the same, and you guys should get compensated. All right, maybe not financially quite as well, but you know, the right, you know, you good food, you're happy, right?
Basically,
a real mensch, you know. And the most impressive thing I saw working with him was his commitment to perform at his definition of best, not at what other people would have accepted from him. So we finished a scene, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 takes, and the director's happy, says, "All right, good, that's good, moving on." And, you know, that's great. Tom could have just gone back to his trailer and had lunch or whatever, but he says, "No, I think I could have done that better." And he stays, and we do it again, because it wasn't up to the standard that he wanted, even though everyone else would have been happy with it. And I thought that was so informative. That's really informed the way I work now. Like, work to your standard, not to what you think you could get away with or what other people are happy with.
Now, who else are either actors or directors that you're like, yeah, they were great. They really know that, or very kind people. Who
thoughtful people, you know. Sidney Pollack was certainly in that. Gene Hackman, amazing to work with.
Oh, really? So nice to hear.
A very subtle actor, you know. You'd see him come and he'd do a scene. It was like, what did he do? He just stood there and said something. It looked like nothing. And then you watch all the little nothings put together in the end, and he had painted a beautiful portrait of this character. But and just, you know,
film was he? What did you do for that film?
That was the same movie. So The Firm was just full. You had, you know, you had Tom Cruise, you had Holly Hunter, you had Gene Hackman, you had, you know, a lot of amazing talent on that. I guess on any movie of a Tom Cruise sized budget, you know, you're going to see a lot of talent across the board, in front and behind.
I'm trying to remember the Firm. I don't remember great special effect pirate things blowing up kind of, you know. It was basically in a law firm, and it's creepy and whatever. Is there a car chase? What did you have to do special effect wise for The Firm? Yeah,
right. So you would think, like, what's, you know, that's not a big action film, right? It's a more thriller, psychological, whatever. I think there were close to 140 effects in there, and an effect could be
Yeah.
It could be something as simple as someone walks up to the elevator and they push the button and the light comes on. Okay, well, it's not a real elevator, right? We're sitting on a set, so that has to be rigged. Or you're waiting for the elevator and you're staring up and you're seeing the needle thing go, telling you what floor it's on, right? I'm sitting there with a little rheostat and I'm controlling this motor and I'm moving the needle. And this way the director could say, can the elevator move a little faster, a little slower? Can the paper come out of the fax machine? I don't want it to go like this. I want it to go.
We don't even think of this in terms of
right. But if the script says like a paper, comes out of the machine, it rolls up, it falls on the floor and rolls under the table. Well, I don't know any paper trainers out there, right? So you've got to figure out how you're going to make it, pre-curl, hit the floor. I drilled little holes in the floor at an angle that we could run air compressor to, so that when it hits the floor, it rolls under the table. So like there's all these subtle little things you'd never think of. It's not just
you figure, coming out of like Dave came out of film school and stuff like, you figure, we need a fax machine. All right, go use it. I'll bring it here. And whatever the speed the thing comes out, it's a fax.
So there's not even a phone line to hook the fax machine up to. Right. So you got to take the fax machine, you take it apart, you remove the guts, you put in your own motor, you run the motor back to your own controller, and then you load it with paper. And when the guy says a fax is coming in, you hit the little button on your controller, and that makes the little light flash. And you ask the director, do you want the little flashing light to be green, red, orange, yellow? And you have all the spare LEDs ready so you can swap it out. So the idea is really just give the director creative control over everything that they could control. And then you give them choices, right?
As stunned as absolutely like, in wonder and awe and astonishment at what goes into movie making and the thought that goes into every single element, which is like,
it's a lot. You see the elevators open, right? You've been in an elevator and the elevator opens, but sometimes the elevator's just, finishing leveling down as the doors are opening. Again, there's no elevator. We build a box on the set, and then I set the box onto 4 tires, inner tubes, and they have hoses coming out of them with a regulator. And then when I'm on one door and my brother's pulling the other door open, to create that effect. And then I hit the button and it lets the air out, and you see the elevator finish going. Shh.
And the reason,
and again, these things are subtle. No one ever says, "Oh, what amazing effects!" But the same amount of work goes into it, whether it's explosions or something silly.
I mean, this is just so. Do you still run or coordinate this place called Stunt Ranch?
Yes, Stunt Ranch still up and running in Austin, Texas. It's a theme park. Basically, you can come and you could be a stunt mensch for a day, or a stunt woman, and it's for corporate team building. So Googles and Facebooks and companies like this. It's like, what are we going to do for fun this summer or this winter? How are we going to do a big team building thing? So they'll come. Everybody gets to jump off a tower from an explosion, ride a zip line, shoot stuff. It's exciting. You get to live out your Hollywood fantasy for a few hours.
Beats the shit out of us.
And then go back to being a coder or whatever they do.
Now, how would you have handled, or how would you have kept what happened to Alec Baldwin happening to Alec Baldwin? Just like, don't.
Well, nothing happened to Alec Baldwin. He just got served with papers. But a lot happened to Helena Hutchins. She died.
You're right.
So in the scale of magnitudes, screw him.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah. So, enough. But I could tell you what happened there is that, it really came down to almost the same thing as the Hindenburg, hubris, right? Thinking that you know more than you know. Thinking that you can control dangerous things when you don't have the knowledge to go about it properly. And I did a special for the Discovery Channel about the Hindenburg, and boy, the parallels were incredible, right? When someone says, "Don't fill that thing with hydrogen blows up," and you look back and you say, "Well, maybe for your inferior minds who do not know how to control the hydrogen, but for the brilliant Nazis, we can do this, yeah." So All right. Well, it turns out they were wrong. So when someone goes to Alec Baldwin or any other actor and says, "Hey, I'm the armorer. I'd like to show you how to use this gun. It's kind of a specialty piece of equipment. It's a single action gun. It's not what you're probably used to." You don't say, "I got this. I've been doing this for 30 years. You know, you're not going to tell me how to work this gun." All right. Well,
or check if it's loaded.
or check it, right? See what's in it, right? And it's, "Oh, well, I don't check guns. You know, I rely on my crew for that." Well, how are you relying on your crew when your armorer is not even in the room, right? And you take the gun from Dave Halls, who's the first AD, who has no business touching the gun and who yells "cold gun." This guy had a reputation for cutting safety corners A to Z, you know, just to make the movie go faster so they could get a couple more shekels. And there's no way to run a set. Somebody died because of it. Well, if you pick up a gun, you are responsible for what happens with that gun. It doesn't matter who you think loaded it, who made the ammo, who, whatever. The gun's in your hands, you're responsible. So if you don't know how to check it, you bring someone over and you say, "Please open this up. Show me what's in here. Either show me that it's empty, show me that these are dummy rounds, show me that these are blanks, because I don't want to hurt anybody." And I know Alec did not want to hurt anybody, right? I saw footage from the day before where he's saying, like, "Hey, could you stand on the other side of the camera? I don't want to point the gun at you." So like he had, but the thing is, you can't follow the gun rules on a Monday and not follow them on a Tuesday, right? They're called rules, not suggestions, right? They're rules because if you don't follow them, people die.
Well,
And so,
what is the closest that
yeah.
you ever had to contend with something going seriously wrong, even on a set that you were involved with? You set things up, but either, you know, some things happen or some mistake or something. So what's the closest you've gotten to you're getting hurt or someone getting hurt and shit gone bad?
Yeah. So, you know, got to own your mistakes, right? And this is on a movie I did the effects for. It was called what the heck was it called? Hustle and Flow.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So Hustle and Flow, they come out of a bar at night. It's raining. And so we have these rain towers. So think of it like a giant tripod that you push up into the air, right? And then it's got a little nozzle on it that you know, shoots water out and it makes it looks like it's raining.
How wrong can that go? All right.
Right. So, yeah, right. So if you have a distributed head, you know, where it shoots rain in all directions, when you turn on the water, the force goes equally out and the tower stands still. In this case, the towers were at the side of the set, so we were using angled rain nozzles that just, you know, push forward. Well, you push the water this way, it pushes the tower this way. And they had not given me budget to have my own assistant operating the water flow. They said, "Look, just use one of the PAs. You know, we don't have the budget to bring this whatever in to give you an assistant." When this PA turned on the water flow, he turns it on full flow. Woof! The rain tower goes back. This 30-foot steel tower, you know, slams down into the ground, you know, this close to the director. So, you know, nobody got hurt, but you know, those things, they stick with you forever and they make you, you know, more safe. I was going to say more paranoid because that's actually appropriate, right? Professionally paranoid, meaning you're always thinking what could go wrong, what could go wrong, what could go wrong. You're looking around with this constant eye towards safety. So, you know, the tower, now when I put up the towers, we use shroud lines, we secure everything so that nothing could move. You know, you learn from these mistakes.
Absolutely.
And that's that. But
it was full of water. I mean, I can imagine it falling backward and then water going all over equipment and causing shorts and things like that too.
Probably not great.
But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah. So
let me ask you. I mean, this has just been such a fabulous conversation with Steve Wolf. I do want to say that one of the things on your resume of things that you've done, things that you were totally unrelated. You were a private eye.
I was, you know, I was going to college and looking for a, you know, after school job. And I had met this guy as a private investigator and he says, "Hey, you want to, you know, work for me?" He's like, "Sure. What do we do?" "We investigate crap." And I said, "All right, well, I'm naturally curious. So making a living being curious sounds interesting." So it turns out it was like a real bogus job. It's not, it's not like I'm following spies on the bridge and whatever. It's basically like somebody ran their Hertz rental car into another car 7 years ago, and they filed a claim against Hertz and or budget or whoever, and now you got to find out where's the guy live, were there witnesses, do we get down and stay? So you're just like basically driving all over the Bronx, Staten Island, whatever, trying to run down these leads on these silly little stale cases to find this guy, get a statement, whatever. That's probably the bulk of the work, right? It was not fascinating, but then I used that skill later when I started a company called Trial Films. And so Trial Films is based on the idea that when you go to trial, we're talking about something that happened, right? Your stove blew up, your car flipped over, whatever. Well,
or your stove flipped over and your car blew
your
up.
stove flipped over and you're right. So something, something went wrong. You fell off a climbing wall, whatever. Well, and now you're suing somebody because you got hurt. So when you go to court, your fate is in the hands of 12 people who couldn't figure out how to get out of jury duty. This is the unfortunate truth. I know we have a civic obligation, but most people don't want to do it because in most cases it's silly, and you get $10 an hour and the parking costs 20, right? So the idea was, if we could make a movie, like a little 5-minute America's Most Wanted style reenactment of what happened to the client, then we could show that to the jury, and then they would understand, oh, that's how the pilot light thing works in an oven. Now I understand why it blew up. Oh, that's how belaying works in the climbing gym. That's why when the guy was using the gree instead of the figure 8, they fell off the wall and broke their spine.
But
so
are judges allowing this? Because it's very
they do. Yeah, no. Well, in the beginning, the judges were getting in the middle of it, like, should we let this? This could be prejudicial. But pretty soon the judges said, look, it's not our job to decide what evidence each side presents. You present what you want, and the jury will figure it out in the middle. But what I realized is that people believe what they see on TV much more than what that lying lawyer or that paid engineer sitting there says. Now, so anyway, I used my PI background to investigate these cases, figure out what happened, read through 10,000 pages of depositions, write a 5-minute script, at a 5th grade level, and then go out and film that. And now the jury gets exactly that's how that firearms accident happened. So I'm actually working on the Baldwin case right now. I'm making one of those movies. So I'm working as the plaintiff's expert witness. And
I have no idea when I asked that question. You shouldn't be talking to me about that. I mean, there's no gag order.
There's no secret there. Even if there was well, first of all, I'm not Trump, so I don't have a gag order because I don't say nasty things about people who are just trying to do their job.
Oh, I do.
And, right.
I have a gag reflex. That's different.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. So, and for me, the priority is that nobody else should get hurt. Right. Bad enough that Alec Baldwin has killed 50% of the people who were ever killed with firearms on set. If there's
Eric Hexum.
Well, he shot himself, right?
Yeah.
And then Brandon Lee, who was killed on the set of The Crow.
That was it.
Again, the armorer stepped off set, left his wife in charge, and something went wrong. So gun safety is simple. I don't know if you play with guns at all or, play. Okay. But there's 4 rules of gun safety, right? All guns are always loaded. Never point a gun at anything you don't want to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until the sights are on the target, and be sure of your target and what's beyond. That's it. Those 4 rules cover everything about gun safety, and you can't hurt somebody accidentally without breaking at least one of those rules.
Yeah.
So if you treat the gun like it's not loaded, and then you point at someone and you put your finger on the trigger and you're pointing it at something that's not the target, you're breaking all the rules, and it's inevitable that someone's going to die if you do that. So
let me ask you, as we wrap up our conversation with the wonderful Steve Wolf here. I don't know when you sleep or how you do everything that you manage to. I mean, you've got still the stunt ranch going. Are you still doing effects for movies, or you kind of
Once in a while, if if I can day play on a movie, hey, we just need to blow up this car when there's whatever, fine, I'll fly in, I'll do that, I'll be home the same night. But really, working on Team Wildfire is my 100% job. I'm the CEO of the company now, and it's like a real thing. We've got investors' money. They put a little over $3.5 million into this. Yeah. So, and plus this will save a lot of lives.
But with your career, the way your life has gone, do you see this still? You'll still be there in 5 years, but will you have moved on to create some? Is there some other thing that you're sitting up at 4 a.m. at the drawing board, going, this is next?
Yeah, that's not avoidable, Rabbi. It's some people are wired to just look at the world as a series of problems and feel some sense of obligation or creativity or curiosity to figure out how to solve them.
All right, peace in the Middle East. Go.
Show me the map again. Right.
We've been talking with the delightful Steve Wolf here in the Daverhood. So remember also, if you want to go to the Stunt Ranch, this is in Austin, is it? Yeah,
Stunt Ranch is there. If you want to follow what we're doing at Team Wildfire, it's pretty fascinating. We're at teamwildfire.com. And we have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/Team Wildfire. And we post, pretty regularly the scientific advances as we make them. So when we're testing the mist chamber that puts the mist into the exhaust, right? We post that. When we're testing different types of foam, different types of retardant, different size jet engines, different size vehicles for getting up the little paths into the trees, you could kind of follow that journey. And so we're looking forward to deploying these on fires and, stopping people from dying, losing their homes, losing their businesses. It's costly and tragic. And I think, like you said, we put a man on the moon, we send probes to space, we go to the bottom of the ocean. We should be able to blow out a fire.
Yeah, somebody's smoking a cigarette on an elevator. I'm standing next to them. I've had, deli for lunch. I break wind. How do we stop the conflagration that ensues when my air hits the match? And
right, and that is precisely why they banned smoking indoors and on elevators.
Absolutely, because of me.
Secondhand explosion from deli gas.
Steve Wolf, just an absolute and one of the best guests absolutely ever. TeamWildfire.com is the website. TeamWildfire.com. I of course wish you luck. I hope they take your idea next summer in friggin' Canada or or Seattle or wherever, and use it and employ it so that we lose 10 acres instead of 1,000 acres or whatever.
Exactly. And it's my plan to turn these things into robots, and we send them in to fight the fire, and the firemen stay home and live to celebrate the next Hanukkah with their family. Happy Hanukkah coming up tomorrow.
Is that you have your last name is Wolf? Are you tribal or what are you?
I'm MOT.
Remind me.
Member of the tribe, right?
Yes,
all the codes, right?
I knew I liked you for other reasons besides your intelligence and your good heart and your good things. He's also a Yidel. How can you not love him? Steve Wolf,
thanks, Mishpacha.
Thank you so much for being in the day. You're fantastic. Thank you. And
thank you so much, Rabbi.
Have a good one. Happy holidays to you too.
And to you, good Yontif.
Oh my God, Steve Wolf, what a wonderful guy. I could have spent another hour talking to him if I didn't literally have to break wind, and I'd better get away from here. But boy, oh boy, TeamWildfire.com. I am on fire talking to Steve Wolf in the Daverhood and sharing with you in this pre-Hanukkah show. Well, it's still 2 weeks away, but whatever. And wishing you a good, happy, healthy time. You're seeing these idiots on television. You're seeing them in the colleges. You're seeing them just, push that out of your mind. Remember that it's still basically good times to be a Jew in America, to be a Jew in the world. So be proud. Stand up. Enjoy it. And then when you sit down again, if you're going to break wind before, until Steve Wolf figures out how to do this, don't go near matches. That's my basic advice. And shalom to you. God damn it. Oh, thank you so much to Rabbi Saul Solomon for doing that interview, for talking with Steve Wolf, because man, I forgot what just a fabulous guest. Even to the point of that German accent that the guy was doing. I was like, oh my God, what a, probably some genius level IQ stuff going on there with Steve Wolf, and thrilled to have him as a guest on this program, Dave's Gone By, on this Saturday, December 2nd, 2023. Now, I just have not had the time or energy to deal with this, to deal with some issues that we're having with our regular website, davesgoneby.com. However, our Facebook page, right there, you're on it, you're watching it, or maybe you're watching this on our YouTube channel after the show, because we post all our programs on YouTube on the Dave's Gone By page. Unfortunately, a few dozen of our YouTube postings over the years have been muted or blocked in various countries, including this one, just because of copyright stuff, of songs we play, of music, of copyrighted material, because go figure, it's always been a radio show, and back in the day, you go on the radio, you play what you want, and then the artists were thrilled that you were bothering to play it, that more people heard what they were doing. Now it's like, oh no, if you play this, you are the one who has to pay for it, so whatever. So YouTube is not, we used to have all our archives on YouTube. It's spottier now, but also we barely play any music or recorded material at all in our later shows. So if you go to YouTube, you can find the shows really that we've done for the past 3-4 years, unbroken and complete, not to mention all the interviews that we've done on the show too. But you can also find our stuff, and the best place to find us right now is archive.org. Archive.org. This is a not-for-profit website that gathers information and literature and art and culture and music and stuff from the past, 5,000 years. Excellent, photos of art, as well as books that are in the public domain, old TV and radio shows, old movies. I mean, it's this trove of things that you can find on archive.org. Give it a look, because we have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel. Every single episode that we've done is on there. Every single interview that we've done is also separately on archive.org. So it's a great place to, especially since in the past couple of years, the file quality of what we've been able to upload is better on archive.org than it even is on our regular Dave's Gone By channel or website. So definitely start with Facebook or archive.org if you are into podcasts and you don't mind just hearing the audio and not seeing this gorgeous face in front of you, right? Go to castbox.fm. That's another option for you. Castbox.fm. And this is an audio-only site. It's for people who are on the go, who are at the gym, who are driving, and you want to hear the show. So you download the file. I don't know if it's MP3 or whatever they do, but it's a podcast file. And it's a long podcast. Our shows are 2 to 3 hours, but you can hear it. You can play it. You can listen to it at your leisure just by going to castbox.fm and looking for the Dave's Gone By channel. Main thing is there's a ton of ways to find the same material. If you miss an episode, if you want to go back and hear all or part of an older episode, even though our main website is down for the count temporarily, there's tons of places where you can still get the same thing and still find it. It just annoys me sometimes when I look for something on YouTube and I know it's there. I know we had this segment. I know we did this interview, and I'll Google it and it won't even come up. And I will literally have to go on YouTube first, look for it, put Dave's Gone By, and then the name of the interviewee. And then suddenly, there it is. Why it wouldn't come up in the first place when I just did a Google search, I don't know. I don't know the metrics of these things. I wish I did. But there you go. That's all by way of saying tons of ways to enjoy this show.
Did the rabbi, is he okay?
No, the rabbi was just so incredibly thrilled and delighted. Because not only was Steve Wolf an absolutely amazing interview.
Is it okay if I sit against the wall with the pillows?
Yeah, sure. Amazing stories to tell. So smart and so open and honest about.
Jack of all trades,
Yeah.
man of the world.
Turns out he's also Jewish. Oh no, Jewish.
Did the rabbi give him any spiritual guidance?
Didn't he? He got more spiritual guidance from
Whoa,
Steve.
that's lovely.
So yeah, it was a pretty great.
Did he mention the pigman at all or no?
No, we didn't
Okay,
not
good.
go there.
That's
Did
probably
not go
safer.
there. But we talked about or Rabbi Saul talked about the Alec Baldwin trial because he's sort of
I didn't
involved
know
in that.
that.
Yeah.
I'm lost track. I thought
Because
he
about
was.
firearms, yeah.
I thought he was found not being charged for any of the stuff.
Well, I guess there's civil stuff going on, and there's other things going on. So it isn't just a criminal trial.
Oh, like for negligence or what?
Probably, yeah.
I'm not following that.
You know, neither have I quite whatever.
Why is Saul involved?
Saul's not involved. Steve
witness?
Wolf is, yeah.
Oh, what's he doing?
He's designing, yeah. So you should go back and listen to the interview on archive.org or castbox.fm.
I can't. It's not posted now.
No, well, it will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he it's a brilliant thing. He designs films, short film, like 5-minute films for juries.
Oh, and like reenactment?
Yeah, which I'm
How do you
surprised
reenact
courts
something
allow.
like that?
How do you? Well, it's also about showing how in this case guns should be treated, how they're loaded, what happens.
Like improperly
Yeah.
and improperly. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
It's pretty easy to reenact the shooting of that director and camera person.
But
Like,
honestly, who knows about? I mean, I would not know about proper fire.
yeah.
But we did know the guy in the GSA who wouldn't point a potato. He said even with the fake gun, you're taught never to point
He's
at a
right.
person, right?
That is one of the
And he
absolute
wouldn't point a
things.
potato.
Yeah. We were in so it was in Texas years and years ago.
Yeah.
Was it at Gay Bingo? Was it or
No,
were
it was a Gero conference, and we were just at a bull. What's the way you ride a mechanical bull?
Yes, they had
It was
the ghillie
dancing.
thing.
It was like a barbecue joint.
Yeah. And then there was a guy dressed as a sheriff with a fake gun and a badge, and I was there with a potato, one of my
Wow.
beautiful with one of these.
Not in costume though.
Yeah, he didn't have the wings on.
No, yeah.
I mean, if potato were shot, he'd have the angel wings on now,
Yeah.
But and I said, can we get a shot of you, a picture of you pointing shooting at potato as if. And he said, I won't point the gun at potato or anything.
He said He said the first rule of even a fake gun is you never point it at a person.
Yeah, and the idea that he treated potato
as his potato had eyes and he was smiling at him. He might have been drunk too, for all we know.
Could have been, yeah.
He might not have been with the conference at all.
That's the only way to get through a gerontological conference is half in the bag. No, I'm kidding.
That's not true.
In Texas, no, I kid. So. Okay, so let me see. Every time I get up and sit down, like the desk moves in relation to me, and I get lower again. There we go. Hello, everybody. So, but of course I lean forward, and then I lose my headroom. That's better. Anywho, we still have a bunch of stuff.
I bought my stand-up desk for you to do your show. I'm so happy that I could contribute.
I'm old school. I just I believe in an old-fashioned like wooden desk. That some
No. That's not the point. The point is that you were using my stuff for your own advantage.
Well, but the thing was, you got this. I was like, okay, this is your thing. You want to stand up, walk around, and do whatever. I prefer old school stuff. I've got a wooden desk in my office, the kind that Bartleby the scrivener would be sitting at and dying, keel over when he's eating his green ink and something like that. And you like more modern things and practical things. And so this thing goes up and down. I'm like, okay, fine. And then I realize, hey, this is a lot easier to do my show here rather than go to my desk and pile books.
You couldn't do Bunion watch on your desk. You'd have to
You'd
probably kill yourself. You couldn't.
I have to stand on my chair.
And then you couldn't do that. Yeah.
I wonder.
That would be dangerous. Don't do it.
Yeah, not today. I'll do it.
Never stand on a chair, David. That's bad.
If I don't stand, I'll never change a light bulb. But you have to stand on a chair.
Or a ladder.
I should have asked, Rabbi Saul should have asked Steve. It was like, what is the protocol for standing on a chair to change a light bulb?
We'll make a film of it, probably.
Well, you have to have 3 people turning the chair, and just making sure that you hold the light bulb carefully.
Sure.
But anywho, we still have our Colorado Limerick of the Dam to do, and we have our friends of the Daverhood. But why don't we get to Joyce and I lived in Greeley, Colorado for a bunch of years.
I'll do the noises verbally.
Yeah, you're far away enough from the things. So we, when we were there, and still now, the newspaper of Greeley is the Greeley Tribune.
Oh, I'll just get the phone call.
Oh, we can do, yeah, there you go. Get that ready.
Just warm my
I
hands.
don't think we have any alerts.
You have to do the alerts, Poopy.
Yeah, so I don't think we have any today. We did.
No, 8th and 8th.
Not,
you know,
yeah.
8th and 8th, which was the vortex of all things unusual, has not had a shout out in a couple months.
I think we have one coming up, but not today. So there is an 8th and 8th.
That's the jam.
Yeah, 8th and 8th. What she's talking about is that 8th Avenue and 8th Street in Greeley, Colorado is this sort of Bermuda Triangle vortex from whence nothing ever emerges the same. It's the black hole of northern Colorado, if you will, where all strange things occur. But we have other strange pieces of news that were real, that are phone calls that come into the police department in Evans and Greeley and other parts of northern Colorado. They go into a column that is in the Greeley Trib that is now being put together by someone named Chris Bolin. So we thank Chris very, very much for doing this, because it's intentionally funny. These are real calls, real things, but they put them in the paper because it's like, I can't believe they called the police about this. Yeah. Or that really is ridiculous. So ladies and gentlemen, we put them together in a segment that we call here in the Daverhood, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Indeed, we, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Times we have for you today. So these, someone called the Greeley, Colorado Police Department to tell them stuff. For example, a caller at a park. Wait. Oh, I thought the phone was broken. Frozen. All right. I'll get it. Yeah, they still need to have that looked at. A caller at a park near Balsam Avenue. Said a man was driving back and forth from one end of the park to the other. Okay. The man told police he was just getting off work and was catching Pokemon before he went to bed.
Oh, good.
Remember that thing where people were...
Yeah, I thought that was done over with.
It wasn't Pokemon, though. It was something else that they were doing. It was like...
I think it was Pokemon.
Yeah, it was some Japanese game thing. They were looking for an Easter egg. It was Pokemon. Yeah. So this guy is like trying to find...
He was on a really long night shift, and it was like 10 years ago that he finished.
Yeah. I hope the guy got his Pokemon.
But better to chase Pokemon. Maybe that puts him to sleep, know?
Yeah. Unless Pokemon was a 9-year-old boy who was hoping to molest.
I hope.
He's like, here, little Pokey. Come on, I got some candy for you. Anyway, that's where my mind goes. A caller on 2nd Street reported seeing a man urinating outside his residence. And by the way, they're not clear here. I hate the pronoun thing here because I'm not sure if it's urinating outside his residence. Mm-hmm. Is it the caller's residence or is it the guy who's peeing's residence?
I would assume it's the caller's because why would he care? You could pee on your own property. I mean,
well, can you? That's still indecent exposure.
Did they see his dingling? That's not you. That's
well, here's the deal. It was not the first time she saw it happen.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Now they're dating.
That's right. Well, she got to look at the merchandise. She's like, if he can do that. Mm-hmm. Anywho, a caller on 40th Avenue. This is it. Found what on her roof?
Chicken.
You're absolutely right, family.
A goat, a raccoon, a marmot, peacock. I don't know, an owl?
A dead owl. Mm-hmm. A dead owl on her roof. I wanted to know what to do with it.
Owl souffle.
Yeah, or I'm a pasta owl dente. Okay, pasta owl dente.
Mr. Peabody.
Yeah, and when I hear a story like this about a dead owl, I always wonder who.
Well, you better give a hoot.
Oh. Yes. What if you were a cop? What would you say? Just What would you do with
I
a
think
dead
you're
owl?
just supposed to throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Is it endangered? I don't know.
Well, it's already dead. There's nothing you
I
can
think
do with
you
it.
gotta just put it in the garbage.
Grab the shovel, launch it down on the lawn, and then
But this is what confuses me. How do you see a dead owl on your roof? She has a drone?
well, and she found the dead owl. So I imagine she went onto her roof. Maybe it's an apartment complex or something, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Or maybe it rolled onto the gutter people were there, and it's like, you got leaves, and you got your soot here, and you got some and there's a dead owl. That's what's blocking your storm drain. Has your water been tasting owlish lately? Now, a caller speaking of animals, a caller on 13th Street said that a turkey jumped in the back of his truck.
Wow.
And the caller was unsure whether the turkey was domesticated.
I don't think so. If it jumped in the back of his
Yeah.
truck.
Aside from that, how many pet turkeys do people have?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, around Thanksgiving, there's going to be turkey. That bird was making a getaway. It was the middle of November. Turkey's like, just fucking drive. I'll tell you where we're going. That's right. Oh shit, Colonel Sanders. Duck! No ducks. No, there's just turkeys, right? Keep driving. It's like,
Maybe he was trying to get away.
wouldn't you?
I would. If I was the turkey, I would be doing it.
A caller on, now this is not 8th and 8th, but it is 8th Avenue. A caller on 8th Avenue said a man was walking around carrying a large weapon. Possibly a hatchet.
How can you not know?
If it was a hatchet or, it was either a hatchet or a bow and arrow.
I'm sure it was the golf club. I'm not sure.
Yeah, right? He wasn't threatening anybody,
Okay.
but the caller was concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hatchet man, walking around the streets all sharp and scary.
That could be a problem.
It could be.
Especially if he's looking for Pokemon.
Yeah. Or he had a novel he wanted to be published by Hachette. I know. Sorry about that. Yep. Now, there's a caller on 26th Avenue. Well, by the way, it's a little bit after 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time, here in the Daverhood. You're watching...
Or as you call it, almost T-30 to mission.
I'm sorry. 920th episode of Dave's Gone By. We're calling it Rabbi Saul Solomon Meets the Wolfman, in honor of our guest. But we're doing Greeley Times here with some criminality, including a caller who saw a silver SUV.
Wow.
And you know what? I've almost done this. Driving down the road with the gas nozzle and hose still connected.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because I've actually driven away with. There was one time when I pulled up to the tank.
Off, yeah.
I turned the thing, and then the thing was broken. It turned out it had a sign that said this pump not working. All the other pumps were being busy. So the hell with it.
I know you picked
drive.
me up, and I said, "Why is the gas cap off?"
Yeah. And it's just like, oh shit! I drove. Now I didn't drive away with the pump in the car, but I can totally see people distracted.
It's like when they drive off with the coffee or the groceries on the hood, on the roof of the car. Yeah.
But I do also wonder if it's like a Polish driver. If I leave the hose in, there's always going to be gas.
No.
You think? No? Doesn't work like that, huh?
I think it's somebody who just was like, I'm late and I got to get to where I'm going. I paid for it. I'm done. Let me just go.
I know.
You know?
Because, our car, it's actually a small tank. It's like 15 gallons total. But I see these SUVs, I see these things, and, they set I don't know how they do this, where you don't have to keep holding it. They set some kind of contraption. And they're probably doing like a 30-gallon, it's just like, and they're filling this giant thing. Yeah.
He was chasing Pokemon.
Now, we're back to animals. A caller on 21st Street said he was attacked by a stray cat that was hanging out outside. Caller said, quote, well, it scratched him up pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good description. Cats are...
Yeah.
My mom's friend had lupus and got scratched by the cat. It made her really sick.
Well, yeah, she got an infection from
she got really sick,
a cat.
Yeah.
Cat scratch fever. Cat scratch fever. Anyway, now again, We don't have an 8th and 8th, but we do have something from 8th Avenue. Another thing from 8th Avenue. A caller on 8th Avenue said a man was walking around completely naked. He seemed drunk, and he was just, quote, leaning up against the building. As long as he wasn't rubbing up against the building, I think we're okay.
He forgot his underpants.
That could absolutely happen. It does happen. Now, here's what happens very often on Greeley Times here on Dave's Gone By. We take a moment and we step away from northern Colorado.
Go far afield.
Far afield to give you a story,
Didn't you want to be more international, more cosmopolitan?
Yes. Yeah, not just stuck in this little part of Colorado or Maryland or New York, but going elsewhere for a weird, true story. And this is perfect because we were also talking about the environment and stopping wildfires and global warming with Steve Wolf. So this is an appropriate story that comes to us all the way from India. Who do you think was nominated for a Grammy Award, kind of, this past year? This year, as a matter.
Durga, was it Ma Durga, the goddess?
Oh, no, that'd be great. No, real person.
David Lefkowitz?
Oh, I follow me.
Your play was in Chennai.
This is true.
Yeah.
But he didn't get a Grammy or anything.
I don't know who.
Grammy Award is the music award,
I
of
didn't
course.
know that.
Nominated for a Grammy Award this year.
Was it you for your air drum playing? Air drumstick playing? No?
Should have been.
You got to practice.
I think I didn't submit early enough in the process. I missed the deadline on that. No. A Grammy nominee for this year is a song where some of the actual lyrics and stuff is done by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
I love it.
And the beautiful part of it is that the song deals with Modi promoting the consumption of millet.
What? That's the song?
This is Modi's speeches. The song is called "Abundance in Millets."
Oh, I love it. That's really hot. Yeah, that's really. I'm sure I can see why that won a Grammy. That's like,
By the songwriters.
Everybody's talking about millet. Come on.
Aren't they? Yeah. I remember that way before their time, I guess, or ahead of their time. Millet Vanilla, when they were doing their music. Don't reach for noise on that. You know that was good. No.
Girl, you know it's true.
Abundance in Millets is a song by Falu and Gaurav Shah. And here's how the Prime Minister's involved.
Did he know he was doing it, or did he?
Here's the deal.
Sample him.
They sampled him. They featured excerpts from the Prime Minister's speeches.
You have to get approval?
I don't think they need to. I think it's public, whatever. So they took his speeches and cut them up a little bit. And in the speeches, Modi extols the virtue of millet grain.
Wow. Does it mean millet like quinoa?
It's in that family.
I like quinoa a lot. I can understand why he likes it. I like quinoa.
And here's the deal. India is the world's largest producer and second largest exporter of this gluten-free grain, which is why we're talking quinoa.
So who gets it? Who imports it? Who takes?
Every other country that wants millet.
Probably it's like a filler in a lot of food, I'm sure.
And it's fine. It's a grain, right? And it can grow on marginal land with limited water. So that's the idea. Instead of throwing all this water and stuff at wheat and bulgur, in the song, Falu and Gaurav Shah sing, "Millets are a wonder," they sing. "What if we could change the world?" And I swear to you, this tune is Grammy nominated for Best Global Music Performance, along with Nigeria's Burna Boy, who I've actually heard of because kids in my class, and Mexico's Silvana Estrada. Now, here's some more information about this song. Amazingly enough, if you haven't heard it, if it didn't come up on your Spotify playlist along the Hackney Diamonds album and the new Beatles song, Abundance in Millets, it was Modi's idea, a way to promote alleviating poverty and hunger. And 73-year-old Modi has called the tune, so he knows about it and he's all for it, He called the tune, quote, very creative, and he hopes that, quote, it will inspire more people to embrace millets for healthy living. Huh? Huh? So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Grammy-nominated Prime Minister.
I would be afraid, like, if I were those.
Why?
What do you call them? Those song makers?
Yeah.
Because, like, that's controversial to work with politicians and such. Right?
Oh, I see.
You know.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, you can't get more inoffensive than saying, hey, everybody, we should be planting more and eating
grain.
more of this grain because it's easy, it grows in barely arable land. Let's end world hunger. We can plant this stuff in.
What's the problem with it? Why don't people eat it? Why is there this hesitancy?
I don't know. I guess people should eat more of it instead of wanting
rice,
wheat.
Maybe
and
rice, yeah, gluten.
Well, rice, I'm sure, is incredibly plentiful in places like Vietnam and Thailand. But in places like Africa, where kids have flies buzzing around their heads and giant kwashiorkor or bellies, and they say, hey, here's 2 drops of water. You can grow some millet. Maybe it'll work,
Overgeneralization.
Of course it's an overgeneralization. That's what comedians do. We overgeneralize,
I'm overgeneralizing.
If they would serve a little bit of millet with my prime rib at Mission Barbecue, I would try it.
You would not eat it. It's too healthy.
No. I mean, every time except once, I've tried quinoa.
I love quinoa.
And to me, it's like eating the little bead pellets that you put when you're.
If you make quinoa, I used to make it with feta, quinoa, or quinoa and peanut butter and hot sauce. I loved it.
Yeah. Not my thing, but I had quinoa in something a few weeks ago from some restaurant. It was yummy.
You have quinoa when I get the quinoa veggie wrap. You like
yes.
it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you disguise things with other things, if you just give me a bowl of like boiled quinoa, and even with salt on it, I'm like, what? I'm eating like plastic bowls here. But if you put it and you disguise it with ketchup or whatever the hell you put in there and other things, you roll it and stuff, and it becomes, as you say, a filler.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm happy eating bowls.
Veggies, hummus, and quinoa would be good. I liked it with Teresa used to put feta. We used to make it with feta, or we used to put some peanut butter. It was good.
Peanut butter and quinoa, I just don't.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it's weird, but I put hot sauce in.
Hot sauce and peanut, I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And yeah, I miss Thai food with peanut sauce, the skewer stuff. That was good. Yeah. I do miss it. Anyway, we're doing Greeley Times here. You can see I'm getting hungry, folks. I'm starting to think about my prime rib.
About your foodies.
Instead of a corn muffin, they should do a quinoa muffin. A king corn muffin. That would be all right.
No, if people are going to a rib joint, don't want a quinoa muffin.
Yes.
I mean, I think these are two.
Yeah.
They could be overlapping populations, but I think the overlap is quite small. I think people would go to like Pete's for a quinoa muffin, or Mom's, or Whole Foods, or even Weggies, Wegmans. But I think a quinoa muffin would not be the draw for a barbecue joint.
Yeah, but they're throwing it in free anyway with your meal. You might as well. When they're not getting the salted caramel.
They like their. A lot of people talk about their cornbread. They like it.
Oh, so that is what they put with it. It's good. But no, I'm not there for the friggin' corn. I'd rather pay a little more and have French fries, and then. Yeah. But that's just me.
You're back on food, honey.
I am back on food. Mission Barbecue. Okay, let's finish up Greeley Times. Do a couple of more bits from Coplog in the Greeley Tribune, and then we'll go on with more of the program. So, getting back to Coplog here. Where is it? Where'd it go? Sorry about this. Okay. A caller. Oh, and this is rather interesting concerning the week when we had to have our HVAC system recalibrated and put a new motherboard or motorboard, whatever the hell they call it, control board on our HVAC system. So check out this one. A caller on 24th Street said that their downstairs neighbor, thanks for calling. Downstairs neighbors have control of the thermostat.
Ooh.
And they're intentionally making the upstairs apartment too hot.
Ooh, baby.
That's passive-aggressive control right there.
It's called open a window.
Yeah, and it's also called, I'll bet their downstairs is comfortable to cool. Yeah, and it's 68 downstairs and 77 upstairs, and there's nothing really to...
It would be worse, David, if they made it too cold, and then they would be,
that would suck. But I do remember when I was living in living in Manhattan for like a year or so, and had that apartment on Carmine Street. And it was sort of like in the middle of winter. We did not have an issue with cold. I had a small little room carved out in the middle of a railroad flat with a radiator. And when that radiator would come on up, I'm like, Jesus. So I literally open the crack in my window on a 20-degree day just to like be kind. It was comfortable. You know, it was actually very pleasant. But without that window open, I would have been just brutal. But anyway, let's do another one. A caller on 24th Avenue reported a group of about 4 preteens or teens who were being very loud and smashing pumpkins.
Oh, the band?
And Billy Corgan was there. Yeah, right, yeah. So the caller wanted officers to tell them to stop, clean up their mess, and quiet down.
Amen.
And get off my lawn, and get Billy Corgan off my lawn, too.
Yeah, it's a free concert. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, there are other bands I'd rather hear than Smashing Pumpkins, but okay. And finally, oh, no, two more. A caller on 16th Street said she kept getting repeated calls from the jail.
Ooh.
She didn't know which jail
Yeah.
or who was calling, but she was concerned by the amount of calls she was receiving.
They just probably are trying to remember a number wrong.
Or something like that. But, you know, if you get they've done the same number over and over again, or maybe they have a...
So usually I see all the TV shows, they call and say, you have a collect call from something.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been a fake thing, but it could also be like, if you get arrested and you don't remember, I wouldn't remember phone numbers. They might be misremembering the number wrong and keep, trying to get the right number. I mean...
You have a call from... But wouldn't they say the prison?
I don't know. Maybe.
From
maybe
the correctional
it was a
facility.
Scammer. It could have been a scammer. Maybe that's why she was worried. It could have been like a scammer.
Right. Because there would be... Sometimes there would be collect calls, so you give your credit card. Maybe. I wonder. Well, that wasn't funny. But this one might be. Since we talked before about a dead owl and a stray cat that was scratching things, now a caller on 43rd Avenue found a dead squirrel in front of her house. Dispatch told her she could put it in her trash, but she asked, quote, for someone to take care of it instead.
Oh, I like that.
Well, wouldn't you, if you were like 80 years old and you had a dead animal in front, wouldn't you kind of want to call the police?
Yeah, I would love anyone to do that in general. I think that's great. Yeah.
Because it's an awful thing to have to clean up a dead.
They could get it.
What she needs to do is she needs to call our backyard fox.
Oh God.
That happened this week. I forgot. We didn't get to this. Where it was early in the week. Joyce and I were upstairs, and we have nice windows outside our upstairs bathroom and my office, and Joyce's window faces front. I face towards the back, and it's always a delight for me to see the creatures. So lots of bunnies at a certain time of the year. Every once in a while, we'll see our groundhog before he goes under our little shed out in the backyard. Birds, love looking at the birds. I just love seeing the creature. And deer, and watching deer suddenly galump into our yard.
Who just gave us, it said it was the low visibility advisory alert.
Oh, in terms of weather right now? Yeah. And especially recently, foxes. We have 1 or 2 foxes that have been around for a bit. One was lame for a bit, and now he's walking a lot better. They do. You understand why women have foxtail coats. Because you see the sweet little fox faces and these beautiful tails that they have. And then you just sort of see them. One time I saw them curled up for a nap all the way in the backyard. And then it was so delightful while I'm working, having a little eye on him. And that was the day our gardeners came. And we, with their big mowers, like chasing our fox away.
Fox eating rabbit.
But the other day, a couple of days ago, I'm looking out in the yard. I said, oh, Foxy Loxy is here. Foxy's back. Hey, because I'm seeing him almost every day now. And I look at him, and I say, he has an apple in his mouth.
That's the only one I can show.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You want me to see the ears?
Yeah, here, I'll show this. So this represents kind of what we think happened.
Yeah, we don't really know the full.
He had like this bright, it's almost like a tomato color.
That was the head.
bright red tomato in his mouth. I'm like, where did he get an apple or a tomato like that? Good for him, Foxy. And then I notice
Fur.
dragging underneath, like a fur body.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh,
I
wow.
didn't ask if they eat squirrels. Let me ask if
They do. So I think he had a squirrel. And considering the way our many squirrels destroyed our bird feeder earlier in the year.
Do fox eat squirrels?
Foxes prey on squirrels, birds, chipmunks, and other animals that are only active by day, so they may simply be looking for a meal.
So it could have been, the thing was, we're so used to assuming that he got after a rabbit, but the body and the color of that animal that the fox was holding could absolutely have been a squirrel. I think that, and I had seen.
It looks like it. It looks like this video.
You know what? I don't want to see it. You can tell me if it looks closer to like what you saw
Yeah.
when you saw the fox dragging the thing.
Oh, it's hard to say. Is it more common for a fox to eat a rabbit or a squirrel? It's sort of Nick Cave.
All right, that's weird.
Is it more common for a fox to eat a rabbit or squirrel? It's Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, but
What animal do foxes eat the most? It says mice, bulls, rabbits.
shit. So we're hoping it wasn't a rabbit because I love bunnies and bunnies are really cute. I don't mind so much squirrels. Maybe because I grew up, squirrels were nothing new to me. We had them in Brooklyn. We had them in Long Island.
The thing is,
Yeah. Well.
is that squirrels can climb trees while rabbits can't. That's the disadvantage of being a rabbit.
Mm.
The squirrels can run up the tree.
But the day before, I did see a fox chasing after a squirrel. I saw our backyard. A squirrel had the lead. Was getting away from it.
So we don't know the outcome.
So it could very well be that ultimately the fox caught that squirrel, went through its head and went tom tom tom, because it was just literally like a pulpy, bloody mess of head in the fox's mouth with fur hanging down. But because it was gray fur rather than bunny colored.
But you wouldn't think, honest to God, that a fox could do that. Like you said, they look so much like a dog. They look so cute, like a wolf. But these things are real predators.
They're animals. Animals are animals.
Yeah, but our neighbors leave the dogs out in the pen. I'm worried.
Little baby, yeah.
Yeah, they're small, but.
Man. And yesterday, I wonder if he did the work alone. Because yesterday, it was the first time I've ever seen both foxes together. Like the boy-girl fox. Or yeah.
I've never seen them together.
So it could be gang stuff. It could be the Gambinos.
I wonder.
Yeah. So, or
I'm going to ask if foxes.
Well, no. You know what? Check Fox News. Okay, because it's a little fox joke there. Fox.
I don't know why your Google search is black. Look at that here.
My phone has a life of its own. It turns black when it feels like it. It dials things when it feels like it.
Why do foxes travel together during the day? They don't.
Well, they were kind of roaming around, going by our shed and stuff. Yeah. What's it saying?
Not unusual to see them during the day. It says foxes hunt alone and live together in pairs or groups.
Well, there's probably a family. It was his girlfriend, his wife, his whatever, his whore. It's his thing. And by the way, let me ask you this question, dear. Or you can ask me. Do foxes like chocolate syrup? Ask me the question.
You bet. It says the way you can tell a male from a female is the males have thicker muzzles than females.
I'm not going to get up close enough to ever figure out if they do have thicker muscles and stuff. One looked bigger than the other a bit. What else do you have there about foxes?
No, I'm just looking. Is fox poo harmful to humans?
What does fox poo look like? We must have it.
Can a fox smell you? Yeah, they can smell and hear you. Does human urine get rid of foxes?
Human what?
Urine.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It also gets rid of your neighbors.
Maybe that's why the guy was peeing in his yard.
That's it. He said, it's the best fox repellent there is. It's also the best girlfriend repellent there is. It's like, Anyway, I think that covers it. I think that, my friends, is Greeley Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Exciting stuff here on Dave's Gone By, where we're coming up in a couple of minutes on 11:30 Eastern Time in the Daverhood on our 920th episode of the show. We've been calling it Rabbi Sal Solomon Meets the Wolf Man in honor of our guest, the wonderful Steve Wolf. For more about him, please check out his website, teamwildfire.com, to see all the stuff that he's doing in creating these pyrotechnics and ways that pyrotechnics can maybe put out really big fires and forest fires and things. Anyway, Steve Wolf is an old friend of the Daverhood. He was on the show.
Thank goodness he's not Steve Fox.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, thank goodness he's not Steve Squirrel.
Or Bunny.
Or Bunny. Oh. Anyway, so he's been a friend of the Daverhood since 2000, I think, and 12. When he was last on the show. If you want to go find and listen to our old interview, because it was audio only, we were radio back then. But yeah, you can. Just go to YouTube or go to archive.org, look for Steve Wolf and Dave's Gone By. You'll find it. So he's a friend of the Daverhood of long standing. And we like to tell you about other folks who have been on this program in the many months and years that we have been on the air since 2002. We call these the Friends of the Daverhood. So, for example, and I had no idea about this. Gotta give what Rabbi Saul would call a refuah shlema, a complete and healthy recovery to the legendary local New Jersey broadcaster, Uncle Floyd Vivino.
What happened?
I had no idea about any of this, but in 2022, he developed a very severe case of COVID.
Oh, wow.
Bad
He was
COVID.
feeling-
And, like he was driving erratically on the road, cops pulled him over. They realized he wasn't drunk. He could barely get out of the car suddenly. And they bring him to the hospital.
Yeah.
And while he's being treated for COVID, they discover he's got cancer.
Oh, wow.
So he was dealing with that, getting over it, doing okay. And then in 2023, this year,
Yeah.
he had a stroke.
Oh.
But apparently, he is expected to make a full recovery. Kind of like my friend Richmond Shepard, who had a stroke in his 70s and lived through it. But not a great time for
Not a
Uncle
good year
Floyd.
for him, no.
Yeah. So, and as much as I had my issues with Uncle Floyd in terms of being a real pain in the ass when I wanted to put his archive on our thing and not wanting, like the interview we did to suddenly be on the air in perpetuity or on the website in perpetuity or use this picture or that picture. I'm like, what the fuck?
People control their image. We know that.
I know. But I mean, it's friggin' Uncle Floyd.
I know.
But still, wishing him absolutely gives me great memories of coming home, during high school and college, 4:30 in the afternoon, I think it was, popping on, channel 68 on UHF, and there he is with Scott Gordon and Charlie Stoddard and Artie Delmar and Looney Skip Rooney, and watching this ridiculous program, while doing my homework. It was good times, and so I wish more good times for Uncle Floyd. Judy Collins, a friend of the Daverhood. She is a double friend of the show. She was on twice, and on Saturday you can see her in Manhattan at Town Hall. She'll be taking part in a John Lennon tribute
Oh, wow.
Theater Within benefit.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, go see Judy, the one legendary Judy Collins. She's in her 80s and still singing. And then the same day, Sally Mays is doing a show called Sally Mays, Broadway actress and singer. Now and Then, the teaser is the name of her show that she's doing at Green Room 42 in Manhattan. Now, if you're not in New York, maybe you're in New Jersey. God help you, but maybe you are in New Jersey. And you can see Neil Berg's Piano Men 3 at the Glen Rock Community Church in Glen Rock, New Jersey. That's Neil Berg's. So he's playing tribute to people like, I guess, Elton John and some of the other great pop piano players. Go see him, Neil Berg, this Saturday evening. Or if you're a homebody, or once you get home from these things, 10 o'clock Eastern Time on New York's WABC Radio, you can hear Tony Orlando doing his weekly show. He's got a program that he's this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if it's on every. Yeah, listen.
It's been 3 long years. Do you still love me?
I do.
So tie a yellow ribbon round
Tree. Tony Orlando. He's still doing. He's got a radio show.
What happened to Dawn with them?
I don't know if Dawn is still alive, or if the sun has set on Dawn,
Oh, that's harmful.
or if they're washing dishes, which would really be most
That would
appropriate.
make sense.
Yeah.
Right?
But Tony Orlando's still going strong,
That
and
would have been a good endorsement.
right for Dawn dishwashing, wouldn't it? Yeah. That just dawned on me. Get it? That's a little. Yeah. Anyway, on Monday, Hershey Felder is doing his show George Gershwin Alone as a benefit for the Entertainment Community Fund that is happening at Town Hall in Manhattan. So, Hershey Felder, all during the pandemic, he was doing these things about these composers and their life stories and playing the piano. He's going to be doing George Gershwin Alone, which he did on Broadway, I think.
I'm sure going to be very popular.
Yeah.
That
Well,
music is very popular.
Well, he plays Rhapsody in Blue from beginning to end. So go see George Gershwin Alone this Monday night at Town Hall. And then on Tuesday, the 5th, Jeff Harner with special guest KT Sullivan. They're doing a holiday show at 54 Below. So those two folks are double friends of the Daverhood. And then on Tuesday, same night, directing Santa Claire, I don't know who that is, but she's a singer, Santa Claire at Green Room 42 is 94, I think she is, year old, Marilyn May.
Nice.
Indefatigable, this woman.
Is that the cabaret one that Friendy liked?
Well, no, Friendy liked a woman named Baby Jane Dexter,
Oh, yeah.
who passed about 3 years ago. She was a guest on this show. But, we lost Baby Jane. But we still have Marilyn May. And she is directing Santa Claire at Green Room 42. Michael Colby is hosting the Winter Rhythms Cabaret Series at Urban Stages. It happens every year. And listen to how many friends of the Daverhood are taking part.
The whole cast.
Just about. Well, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Michael Colby himself.
Wow.
Karen Akers.
Oh, wow.
Jeff Harner.
Yeah.
Mark Nadler. KT Sullivan. Steve Ross. And appearing on video, Andrea Marcovici and Tova Felci.
Everybody.
The whole world who has been on this program is going to be at Winter Rhythms at Urban Stages over on West 30th Street. That is starting on December 6th. And oh, honey, how's your head? Is your head okay? Because we do have an alert.
You can do it.
We have an alert!
What's the alert? Oh, Austin Pendleton.
It's an Austin Pendleton alert!
You could have one every week, David.
Well, no, it's been quiet on the Austin Pendleton front for a couple of weeks, but he's back. He is directing our friend of the Daverhood, Daphne Rubin Vega, in a revival of Tennessee Williams' play Night of the Iguana that they're doing over at 480 West 42nd Street.
That would be really good.
That's way down Theater Row there. Austin Pendleton getting to direct some Tennessee Williams there.
Yeah, he doesn't get any work, so that's good.
I know, right? Well, God bless him, because he gets a decent paycheck acting on Broadway. I don't know how much TV work he still gets, but and then he goes and directs off Broadway and appears in an off Broadway show. He just wants to do what he wants to do in theater and cabaret. So, the wonderful Austin Pendleton, who was a lovely guest, by the way, on the show. Anyway, that starts on Wednesday and runs through almost the end of December, the night of the Iguana. Now, we mentioned Hershey Felder. He's in town. He usually lives in Italy, I think, with his wife, who's a high-level government person there. But Hershey Felder is in Monsieur Chopin. So we talked about George Gershwin alone that he's doing as a benefit, but he's going to be doing his new show, Monsieur Chopin, at 59 E59 theaters, running now through towards the end of December. Oh, I'm sorry, the Night of the Iguana is running through late February. That's going through February.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but Monsieur Chopin is happening just through December 24th. On Broadway, Lilias White is in Hadestown. Stuart Zagnett is in Harmony. Alan Menken's music is heard in both Aladdin and Off-Broadway's Little Shop of Horrors. Seth Biesenhirsch hosts Seth's Talent Showcase. That's on Tuesday nights at Don't Tell Mama. And then Eric Comstock. Oh my God, I've got Led Zeppelin accidentally playing in the background. I'll probably mute this show. Let's go back to Beethoven, shall we? Thank you. Ludwig. Much better. After Zagnett. Oh, we get to Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano at Birdland on Saturday evenings. And then Monday evenings at Birdland, Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks. Monday nights at Birdland, Jim Caruso's Cast Party, birdlandjazz.com for your tickets. And then want to remind you, of course, StageBuddy.com is a marvelous website put together by our friend Evan Seplow.
Reach out to Evan.
I know, he's such a great guy.
Wish him happy holidays.
You know, I will. I must. Also owe Jeff Goodman a call.
Oh,
too.
yeah, he sent us snazzy pictures of them all fancy.
Vicky Quaddy, she often appears on our quizzes. She is doing late night catechism, and I think she's already on to now Christmas bingo at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. Go get your tickets at nunsforfun.com. Shout out to David Sheward, who reviews theater for TotalTheater.com, TheaterLife.com, and CulturalDaily.com, and to Leslie Hoban Blake, who is co-starring with Charlie Gross in the Theater Review TV show Two on the Aisle. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. What song was that? A little bit of Beethoven there, and then thanking all these wonderful people who've been on the program. Thank you also to Rabbi Sal Solomon. So Rabbi Sal has been with us since our very first episode. Find out more about him.
I don't think you could ever get rid of him. I don't think he knows the person who doesn't take social cues. I think that's him.
He grows like a fungus.
He doesn't take any social cue.
None at all. None at all.
No.
But if you want to find out more about him, go to his website, shalomdammit.com, and that is where you can read and hear his rabbinical reflections. You can also watch his TV show that he did years ago, and even his stage show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Sal Solomon, all at shalomdammit.com. Do check him out. Anyway, so those are the friends of the Daverhood. High level, wonderful people. I mean, Hershey Felder playing classical piano, and these cabaret legends who are playing. Let's keep the tone of the show on an elevated high level. Poetry.
Oh, God help us.
Yeah, thank you, dear. Yes. Let's get poetical, versified, because it's time for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
Okay.
What this is Joyce and I lived in Colorado for a bunch of years. I took it into my head to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as possible. And, places like Ouray and Ray, Montezuma, that was recent, yes, and Greeley and Fort Collins and places like that. Some places that are pretty easy to rhyme, and then some places not so much. I don't think
Castle Rock was a good one.
Castle Rock was good. Timnath, not so much.
That's
Timnath
hard
was,
to do.
yeah.
That's hard.
This one is sort of in the middle, one of the harder ones, I have to admit. That's what she said. But today we go to Woodmoor. I was going to say Woodmere. Woodmoor, Colorado.
Do you know anything about
For
it?
Limerick and the Damned, I do, but you can read about Woodmoor. Yeah, Woodmoor, Colorado.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain,
Colorado, Rado, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to, now you say, do you want to tell us about Woodmoor, Maryland?
I'm in Colorado.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
incorporated community
Mm-hmm.
in El Paso County. Oh, it's near the Springs, Colorado
Yeah.
Springs.
Mm-hmm.
It has a post office. That's good. Wow, it's really at the tip. It's the top tip of Colorado. Wow.
It has the tippy-toppy tip of Colorado. Is there anything else about it? Because I realize now, when I looked it up, I was so brain dead that I got the information for Woodmoor, Maryland.
Okay, so I'll
Instead.
tell you.
Yeah,
The population's like about 10,000,
Oh,
9,536.
yeah,
It's in Mountain Time Zone. It's an unincorporated community. It's in El Paso.
yeah.
It says it's near Monument, Colorado. The Woodmoor Commons. Ooh, what?
What?
Have been somewhat of a mystery since there were no signs designating those areas were for common use and no maps available. In 1994, they rounded up residents to hike the areas, name them, install signs, and make it. It's like a common hiking.
Brilliant.
It's not demographics. It's just
Yeah.
population. Wow, they went from 1980 they had about 2,000,
Whoa.
and then 1990 about 4. But from 1990 to 2000,
Now, yeah. Whoa.
they went from 3,858 to 7,177.
What was why there was such a boom in
No,
that
no,
particular?
What happened?
Just
Maybe
everybody moving to.
I think it's all the people mapping the
Yeah.
the common, the woodland commons, or the Woodmoor
Yeah.
Common.
The only disappointment because with me there's always disappointment
Yeah.
is in my tiredness and
There's
confusion.
Monument Hill,
Yeah.
the Western Mining Museum, Fox Run Regional Park, and Monument Lake.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up the Woodmoor accidentally in Maryland, which is near Silver Spring, and this is so sad.
The average home price is almost $900,000.
The average home price.
Yeah, so it's
Well, it's out there. It's in that desirable area. Well, I wanted to talk about this, and this would have been so appropriate, and yet not really. In the 1950s, this is unfortunately the Maryland Woodmoor. Sid Mandel's Kosher Deli opened, and it ran all the way until 1980. And now you know what's on the in the location of Sid Mandel's Kosher Deli?
Pigman's home?
A what?
The Pigman's home?
No. Rather appropriate, an urgent care. So all those people were just gorging on pastrami and fatty
Oh, no.
Jewish foods. It's like now they're going to the same
Remember,
building.
You told me there was one of those like heart attack cafes where somebody actually did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's well, you go into the restaurant and the nurses feed you these giant burgers. Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Joyce told you all about the glories of Woodmoor, Colorado. Woodmoor, Colorado.
I'm sure they confuse them all the time. It makes sense.
However, I'm going to take away some of that glory by reading you a poem I wrote, a limerick, about Woodmoor, Colorado, for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. You'll find lots of women in Woodmoor and think on a good night you could score. But most of those bitches are frigid old witches. You're better off paying a good whore.
Repent. Repent, my child, repent.
If you would like to complain about that poem or anything else, please write to me at davesgoneby@aol.com. Dave, like my name, Dave with an S, gone by at aol.com. You can also post your messages on my Facebook page or message me on Facebook. Either way, I love hearing.
I can see your
from you. I love hearing from weirdly attractive Asian women who are influencers who suddenly find my Facebook page so incredibly interesting and want to be friends. Isn't that lovely of them?
What are you influencing?
I don't know. It's the weirdest thing because they're bot-like, but not. They are real,
Yeah.
and I think they just want so many likes and viewers.
Oh, they want to have followers.
Right.
Yeah.
So they get on my site and I get on there or whatever.
That's just sketchy.
So they're real. It's not like a completely fake thing.
They are.
But I don't know. It's just like okay. So this attractive one, she poses in a dress, and then this is the meal she had. And this is the store that she shopped. You know, if you go down there,
Yeah.
they're like, what? It's not porn. It's not, and they're not completely fake bots.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they're just like, oh, they want to get famous for being like attractive and living a high-end lifestyle, and they think that somehow I can help.
Yes.
Help me, women. I should have. It's like I'll tag you as a friend or something, but share my feed, please. No, actually, maybe I should try that. Anyway, that was our Colorado Limerick of the Dam for Woodmoor, Colorado. Bing, bang. So we did so much today. We had a wonderful talk with Steve Wolf of TeamWildfire.com. We had Bunion Watch.
Yes.
We showed my beautiful bunions. And I played Drumion on them.
You did.
Isn't that
Air
wonderful?
Bunion.
No, this is Air Bunion. Listen, let me close with some Air Bunion. Here we go. How did I get the others? There we go. By the way, it's a Ludwig. So, earlier I was talking about someone remembering this show years from now. Thinking, the stupidest thing I've ever seen on the internet was some guy taking, like, audio drumsticks and playing drums on his bunion. But then he played air drum on his bunion. He actually topped his own level of moronic stupidity. I'm proud of that, ladies and gentlemen. That's.
Maybe you bring the bunion back in fashion.
Wouldn't that be the best?
The return of the bunion, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if bunions became so accepted that shoes, rather than being wide widths and trying to look normal,
just have a space for the bunion.
Make shoes that are like bunion positive.
Yes.
Like it has a bulbous onion thing on the
they have a little window where you could see the bunion. Like my Aunt Louise, she used to wear these shoes that were like plastic. They were plastic.
Right.
So they could be see-through plastic so you could reveal the bunion.
Yeah, and so you call them Uggs because anybody who saw your foot would go, ugh. But like a plastic bubble window
to see the bunion
around the side of your foot. Bunion. And a magnifying, you could carry a little magnifying glass and people want to go look down at it and make it bigger.
And have a little change purse or fanny pack that has all the bunion equipment.
And you have it in all different cultures. You have like Indians sewing moccasin with bunion, like giant pouches.
Oh, you mean Native Americans?
Native Americans. Excuse me. Yeah, with pouches that they sew like papooses.
I think you could do a lot of stuff.
A bunion papoose.
Maybe you could make a catalog.
I would love that. A foot-friendly, bunion-friendly.
What was that esoteric? There used to be a really esoteric catalog, remember? And they had hand-drawn pictures of clothing and stuff.
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember Sears, and I don't recall.
No, it was like for esoteric.
The whole Earth. No,
I don't remember.
But just like astronaut moon boots. It would be like $30,000, but one pair of moon boots. Where very specifically, it's like a big thing, and it has its own oxygen chamber.
Aww.
So that you're
a little helmet.
A little helmet, yes. Your bunion has its own helmet. That's beautiful.
It's very body positive. I like it.
I love it too. I love it. Anyway, I hope you are showing off your bunions and enjoying them, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly have enjoyed doing this 920th episode of The Dave's Gone By, Facebookio Podcastio of the stream, with my wonderful wife Joyce taking part, with Rabbi Saul taking part, Steve Wolf joining us in the Daverhood this week. Just a really, really fun show. So I hope to be back next Saturday, same time, same essential Facebook station here, with the 921st episode of the show. I mean, seriously, 921.
Will you have a guest or the quiz, honey? What are you thinking?
Oh, next week, I don't think so. This week is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
It's my last teaching week before finals week, and then finals week will be brutal. But then again, I'll be grading like crazy, and the week after finals week, I don't care about anything. I'm going to go to Mission Barbecue every day of the week and rub my penis on slabs of ribs.
Why don't they have like a frequent eater, like a frequent flyer card? You know,
They
like,
should. I don't know why they don't do that. You know, like do a punch card, a scratch off, get a little something, something. It kind of broke my heart, but kind of didn't. That I checked my email and I had gotten a coupon for a free, like, little mac and cheese side from Mission Barbecue, but it was last week. And I got it after we went.
So
but I
Brandon
couldn't.
asked them if they could still honor it. They were
That's not nice. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
but
do
you
that.
go there every week, David.
I know.
We're there every week.
Yeah, but to ask for freebies and I mean I'm Jewish, I should, but I'm just
no,
not
but
gonna.
tell them that you got the thing afterward. You know, can they do it again, or how can you sign up for another one? Or
Yeah, because what they do, and I'm looking
you
forward
don't
to.
like mac and cheese
birthday.
that much anyway.
No, that's why I'm not
yeah,
broken
it's
hearted.
not like your thing. Yeah.
It's not like a free rib sandwich. I'm like,
no,
or
if it
pastrami.
was, if it was a free dessert, the desserts are apparently very good.
Yeah. All right. I mean, so I missed out. Wow.
Oh, your cocoa was made with milk yesterday. Because I was waiting for you, and there was a little boy. He's like, I want cocoa, and he's like lactose intolerant almost. And the mom's like, you can't have it.
Can't have it.
Milk. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it should. It's hot cocoa. What do you think it's?
I guess some people make it with water.
Oh, they just do water, and they just.
This was
No,
like
I think
steamed
they
milk.
stir like a candy bar in there or something.
It was really
It's like,
good. Yeah, it's the best hot chocolate in Baltimore.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Joyce got me a
And a hot
cocoa.
dog and French fries because you're my baby.
Yeah.
I love you.
Dave was happy in his belly. Oh, I didn't even get to mention, because, you know, one of the reasons I wasn't really going to be having dinner, I said, you go, I just have something at home, was while the guy was fixing our HVAC system.
He made you food.
I said, what? I'm downstairs anyway. I can't go upstairs because I got a guy working in the house. And, you know, I didn't want to run up and get my computer. What the hell am I going to do? So,
You could have made me bread.
I sort of did. Well, no, I'm not touching that damn machine anymore. That thing, I have no luck with Joyce's bread maker.
I love it.
It turns into, it turns into, no matter who makes it, it's cement. But when I make it, it's cement that caves in.
Yeah.
And then it's just, you can't cut it.
You put it without the turdy, Baba.
Yeah. One time I put in the ingredients in the wrong order, and it's just, what did I do? What
No,
was
you
it?
forgot the spinner, the thing that needs it.
I got to put the spin, and it was a mess. Just, the thing does not, I'm great with crock pots. I'm pretty decent with a fryer. A bread maker, forget it. Just like can't deal with it. Because it's also too regimented. It's like, you've got to put this in first, and then this, and this, and this, and fuck this. But, so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And I realized that our real estate agent, a lovely woman named Janice,
Did you make it?
I said, you know what, I'm here. And she gave us as a gift for the holiday, like, this Kringle bread. Which I never freaking heard. What the hell is Kringle bread?
It must be something special.
It's like, it's a holiday thing, right?
Yeah, it must be maybe local tradition. We don't know.
So she brings us stuff, and you see it in like Trader Joe's and things. It's Kringle, and it gives you little instructions, and it's fairly quick. It's like, you know what, I'm down here. What else am I going to make it? So I go, and I look at the instructions and I realize I don't want to use the oven. I'm going to use the toaster oven. I'm going to take a piece of this, put it in the toaster oven, and make it, and see how it goes. So I open it up, and I realize it's not that big. It's not like just raw dough or anything like that. It's already pretty much
It's supposed
cooked.
to look like this here.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Oh,
I
really?
thought it would be a bread thing. It's really more of a cheese Danish.
I think it's a pastry, honey.
It is.
It says, what's a Kringle? An oval-shaped pastry, 36 layers of buttery dough, cheese, fruits, and nuts. Once baked, the Kringle is drizzled with icing and other toppings like cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah. This one has icing on it, and it's also got cheese, and it also...
It's the official pastry of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think it's made in, the one that she got is made in Racine, Wisconsin. So it's also got like
yeah.
almond paste in it. So it's cheese and almond paste That young in age,
Most
yeah.
of them are.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, let me try. So
You're
I
right,
break
okay.
off a piece, and I pop it on tinfoil. I pop it in the toaster oven, and then you cook it for only like yeah, there it is, there it is. See, it didn't get as toasty as that.
Oh, no?
Maybe I should put it in for
Well,
longer.
we could watch the baking show tonight. Maybe you'll get some
Yeah.
advice. Is
But-
it the final one tonight, Puppy?
I think it's the finals, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is, the
The dough.
that's the dough. This is, I mean, it's really basically cooked already. You pop it in for 4 minutes,
How was it?
and you take it out. It's good. It's very sweet. I would say you would not like it.
Sweet for
It
me.
is really sweet.
Maybe have it with coffee.
Coffee.
With no sugar.
You have to have it with coffee. If you don't, as I did, I just thought, I cooked it. I got to eat it now because I thought it would be more of a bread thing. I thought it was going to be more like a pita
I
sort
thought
of.
it would be more like the thing I got you from Au Bupon.
Yeah. Well, even that was a little sweet. Even
What
that.
was that?
What do they call
It
it?
was a multi-layered.
That was almost like compacted phyllo dough.
Yeah.
Just
Did it have any?
really tightly in like a
flavor
heart.
in it?
Yeah, it was a slightly sweet dough cooked phyllo flavor.
Oh, okay.
Tasty. Not my favorite thing, but certainly tasty. Thank you for that. This was more my taste, but also really sweet for me.
Now I want to eat your muffin from.
It's gone. I ate it this morning. No.
I'm craving something like that. Sweet.
Well, we can get one today because we're going to go to the same place.
Yeah.
I got it.
If they say what I'm feeling, I should eat soup.
Oh, that we can get too.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get like you got that turkey lasagna, but I'll get a veggie one.
Oh, the soup that we got from yeah. Where did I get that?
Weggies.
Really, I got that from Woodmoor.
Yeah.
I'll bet they'll have chicken. They're always going to have chicken soup. So definitely, yeah. You're looking a little pale around the gills at the moment. Is your head going bad or?
Yeah. Look. Wow. I looked better this morning, right?
Yeah, you were fine this morning, and now you're.
It comes and goes. I don't know.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes. Well, anyway, we're as you know, we're going to Wegmans and to Mission Barbecue. So if you've been looking to assassinate me, you know exactly where I'm going to be for the rest of the day. But thank you to Janice for the Kringle, which there's a lot more in the fridge. I only took one piece of it, so if you want to try it, but I'm just warning you that you will take one bite. I'm like, whoa!
Should I go try it?
You'll be like
Is
Beaker.
it cooked?
No, I only cooked one piece. But I can put it in the toaster oven for 5 minutes. It'll be done.
I'm gonna go see if I can find things sweet. Take the heat.
Oh, you want something sweet now?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to. We have one piece of challah bread. That's nice.
I'm gonna look. Okay.
I'm going to end the show anyway.
Wait, no,
So,
wait till I get back.
oh, okay, all right. I'm not going to end the show until Joyce comes back.
Talk about next week.
Well, next week I don't know if we'll have a guest. We probably will, because I was at a Zoom conference earlier in the week from the National Publicity Summit, where I met Steve Wolf again and got him to come back on the show, and met some other people who are quite interesting. So it's very likely, if I do a show next week, that we will have a guest, and maybe Rabbi Saul will have some things to say about Hanukkah, which is now only a week or so away. So happy almost holiday. Oh, I didn't get to talk about it. I guess I'm glad I have another couple of minutes. That I don't know if you know this, but we lost this week Shane McGowan. Not a guest on the program, not a friend of the Daverhood, but leading member of the Pogues band and writer of a couple of the great folk pop rock songs of the era. Not a lot. Not a huge Pogues fan or Shane McGowan fan, but their punk attitude mixed with Irish jig music and Irish traditional music to create something sort of new was pretty great for its time. And if we don't hear any other Shane McGowan songs, but A Pair of Brown Eyes, which I could listen to almost every day of the year, and around this time of year, Fairy Tale of New York, which for years and years and years was voted in England and Ireland and Wales as the greatest Christmas song ever. Forget Nat King Cole, forget the Andy Williams, forget all the Frosty the Frickin' Snow. Won't you have cheese? Forget Frosty the Snowman, Fairy Tale of New York with Kirsty MacColl and Shane McGowan. I wish I could play. Yeah, you got another piece. Yeah, all right, I'm okay. Thank you, Joyce, for helping with the show. But he passed, and Shane McGowan was someone who really, and this is not being mean, He should have died in his 20s. This is a man, not because he was nasty or deserved to, but if there's a person who abused his body, because the living Sex Pistols, they're fine, they're still going strong. Johnny Rotten's still around, yeah, he's still there, and he's appeared on TV and everything. He's a grand old man of rock and roll now. But Shane MacGowan drank so much. I'm sure got in tons of fights in Ireland. If you've ever seen it, as horrible as some of the horror masks and Phantom of the Opera imagery from Lon Chaney was back in the day, there's pictures of Sean MacGowan without teeth in his 30s that are just, it's like, that no human being should look. I mean, just like a mask of such horror, and it's just his face, because I guess he didn't brush, or he drank so much that his teeth rotted away in his face. In his 50s, he looked a lot better than he did in his 30s, right? He presumably came off and stayed off most of the sauce. God knows the damage that he did to his liver. But in recent months, I did not know this, because a few months ago I was thinking, it's amazing that Shane MacGowan is still alive. Like we lost Dolores O'Riordan, we lost Sinead O'Connor, we lost all these, but Shane MacGowan, who lost more blood than Keith Richard did in his heyday with the Rolling Stones. Shane MacGowan is somehow alive and seemingly reasonably well, but he wasn't. He was he had I think encephalitis or something like that. So he passed about 2 or 3 days ago at the age of 65. And, it's just, he didn't have to be Paul McCartney or Elvis Costello or Neil Young or Tom Waits and write 50 great, incredible, memorable songs. He wrote a couple to half a dozen, but they are forever songs and forever performances by the Pogues. So a big, big, big sad farewell to Shane MacGowan from the Daverhood. Not a friend of the Daverhood, unfortunately. Just someone who's like, crap, he's gone. That sort of thing. Anyway, we're still here. We're not gone. But we're gone until next week, next Saturday, same time, presumably, same Facebook station for the 921st episode of Dave's Gone By. Of Dave's Gone By. Of Dave's Gone By. Yeah. And gone by.